into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
And the clock just struck 6 o'clock on this, the 6th of January, Monday, 2020. We're back! Happy New Year! Wow, your Feel Good Breakfast Show is back again to bring you all of those feel good vibes. Welcome back to it. Thank you for tuning in. It's so good once again to be in your company. Hopefully you've had a restful, rejuvenating, spiritually enhancing break, Uncle Tabsy.
Spiritually enhancing.
All of the above. All of the above. How's your break been, man?
It's been absolutely incredible. I think now I find that my bearings, I know where they are, because during the festive season, you forget what day of the week it is.
That's so true.
I was so happy we're back on the show, because I'm not the only one. Everyone I've spoken to didn't know if it was a Wednesday, whether they're coming or going, and hopefully this sorts you out and helps you know exactly what day it is. It is a Monday. It's the start of a brand new year. Everybody's starting to think about their New Year's resolutions. Are you thinking about yours, Kat?
Hopefully by now they're locked in, right? Or you kind of gave them a thought during the festive season.
Yeah, and now you're going to write them down.
Well, no, Tabsy, it's the 6th already. You've already written them down. You've got your vision board. It's already, you know, stuck up to the wall somewhere where you can pass it and see it and reflect every day. Are you starting yours now?
I'm going to put the vision board together today, but I've thought about all the things. I just need to put them visually onto a board.
Like a vision board wasn't even on your to-do list. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but listen, welcome back to it. It's going to be such a fantastic time. Thank you so much for choosing to wake up with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're starting off by asking some pertinent questions on social media on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show. Our post this morning has already gone out, and we are asking everyone this question. 2020 is finally here, right? And the question is, what did we miss out on? What were your highlights? What did you get up to that we maybe don't know about? All our regulars and everybody else out there, let us know. Connect with us and share with us all those amazing things that you got up to, that you did.
Can't wait to hear from you. Please do send them through to us. In the meantime, let's say hello to the ladies, Mantombazana, Kuhle Adams, Jamie Lee. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Kat. It's 2020.
2020.
Vision 2020,
Absolutely.
The year of perfection.
Indeed,
How
indeed.
are you doing?
You are amazing. You guys look amazing. Everyone looks fresh, rested, ready for the new year.
Yes.
What is your New Year's resolution? Do you have one?
My New Year's resolution is to work on my craft.
Yes.
Because we've been here for about 2 months and I think we've grown so much, but I want to push myself. What's yours?
Mine is to say 2020, because I used to say 2020 on the DL, but now it's 2020. That is my vision for it. But of course, we want to make sure that you are dressed for perfection. So tell us what's happening in the weather today.
Yes, please. Let's take the first look at the 2020 weather for the major parts of the country and see what you will be wearing today. Rain continues in Johannesburg, unfortunately, for the week to follow. Thunderstorms and partly cloudy conditions are expected as well. Don't forget your raincoats if you're in Johannesburg.
Absolutely, and then if you're out in the Durbans, move over because an afternoon thunderstorm can be expected with a couple of showers in the evening. Now, temperatures are not as warm as the previous day and range between 24 to 27 degrees. Conditions can remain humid, and it is advised to avoid tight clothing, so get something flowy and sexy.
Absolutely. Now, in the friendly city where I was for the holidays in Port Elizabeth, cloudy conditions are expected with a brief shower or two later in the day. Rain only clears up at the end of the week. So don't forget your umbrellas, everybody, and wear warm clothes because it's going to be a cold one.
And of course, in the mother city where I spent my entire holiday, it seems to be giving us the chills. Mainly cloudy conditions are expected for the entire day with a moderate southeasterly wind, and temperatures seem to get warmer as the week progresses. So it's going to be a nice, flowy dress, sexy, and of course, we're doing black and bold today, which you're doing right now.
We are back, and we are back in black, everybody. You giving me gaps Gatsby vibe.
Gatsby, yes.
Like you're going to be, you know, the leading lady with what you're wearing. I absolutely love it.
I look like the girl from Hotel Transylvania this
I
morning.
did. Initially, I was like, Tommy, that lipstick, the dark eyes, you're giving me Hotel Transylvania vibes, but I absolutely love it.
Love it.
Tell me more about your look.
Okay, so I'm doing very flowy today, very sexy, sultry,
Yes.
of course very nice for the Cape Town weather because it's getting a bit warmer.
Yes.
But of course you can just dress it down, dress it up. You can put sneakers on, but of course I paired it today with some nice heels, keeping it simple, sophisticated, and later we're going to talk a bit more about the look that we have on my face. Of course, our amazing makeup artist Bernice is in studio again to just show us how we glammed it up a bit. And you, Mama,
I absolutely love
looking
it.
hot.
You know what? This is Edition from Woolies, and I decided to pair it up with some chunky black heels. With this accessory, it's very peculiar because I'm not sure if you actually tie it or you tie it to the bag or you can leave it. So I decided to just leave it, and I think it looks absolutely cute like this. It has a little bit of an edge. I love the silkiness of it, and yeah, my makeup also. Hopefully, girl,
Ready
we
for
out here.
Ready for 2020. Actually, let's keep saying 2020.
2020.
But of course, we have so much in store for you today. We are going to be talking about the foods. We are going to be talking about Jenny Morris, and then our portraitor is in studio again, talking about the ABCs. And then we're going to delve a bit deeper with that with Timmy, so check that out.
It's to the kitchen, one of my favorite spots to be in, and this time around joined by our kitchen fairy Nicole Snelling, who, Nicole, good morning, happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Every single day last year you introduced us to a really interesting recipe, and you inspired so many people at home. Everywhere I went, every household I went, visiting relatives over the festive season, they were asking me to cook something, and of course, you know me, I don't retain a lot of their information, but you know, but the few recipes that I did manage to remember were such a hit, and they really rocked everybody. So we're back to it again. This time around, you're giving us the ABCs of the kitchen. What's this? Are we being taught the letters of the alphabet?
Definitely not. The ABCs is aardappels,
Okay.
beets, and cabbage.
Okay.
So the reason why we have that food group is because it's January.
January.
So this is when things are tight.
You're worrying
Yes.
about what to make.
Budget is tight, so we're going to give some great recipe ideas for you at home that are good on the budget, delicious, and very easy to make.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be very good.
This is great. This is part of our culinary hotline, bling, ting, ting, ting. So, of course, if you've got any questions to ask Jenny Morris and, of course, Nicole coming up a little bit later on the show, do get those through to us on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. That's got to do with aardappels, beetroot, as well as carrots and cabbages. These are budget-friendly meals and recipes, rather, or ingredients, rather, that are going to come through in those recipes. And hopefully we can inspire you during this January.
I absolutely love it. ABC, something very easy on the pocket and on your budget. At the end of the day, it is January, so we need to keep a lookout on our bank account. Something we don't have to look out for is how we look on a daily basis, and we have our amazing makeup artist, Bernice, who's here to just finish off Jamie's makeup with Sir John W Beauty. Bernice, how are you doing, my darling?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. So we were talking about Great Gatsby. We were talking about the classic look that Jamie has on today. Let us in on what you're currently doing on her face.
So actually this morning I just had a look at her outfit and we played around with the 20s look, 1920s look. So especially with her haircut and the dress, it's very cute and flowy. So I did like darker tones using the Sir John palette. And I think it works. Like I know it's summer and it should be light and bright, but like we just like played around with the outfit and I really like it.
This is the lady that gives us the face feed for the gods. Whenever we say we have face feed for the gods, this is the lady that makes us possible. We do not wake up like this, guys. Let me just tell you, we do not wake up like this. But thank you so much. I am definitely enjoying this look. Like you said, it is summer, so you do want to always play around with light colors. Sometimes it's okay to go bold and bold and just do the most.
Makeup has no rules. So do what you gotta do, sweetie. Can I actually have a look at this palette?
Yes, of course.
Oh, it's one of my faves. Just look at that.
Love, love, love it.
So now you just...
Yes, it's just blending, making sure that, like, especially working with like darker tones, just make sure that it's not too harsh.
Yeah.
So just keep it nice and subtle, but like different tones. So we used a little bit of a brown shade, brown gold, and then just like dark, like plum color on her lips.
Absolutely love it. While they continue with the makeup, it's time for us to keep, to start the day off on a feel-good note. What's happening, Kat?
Well, I can tell you that we are connecting with you on Expresso Morning Show SABC3. That's where you can find us on Facebook. And of course, we want to know all about your holidays. Let us know about the highlights, the lowlights, what it is that you really, really enjoyed. And I hope that you did have some time to spend with family. As you can see that we're saying good morning, family. Expresso is finally back on air for 2020. This is our first day, in case you weren't sure. So what did we miss out on? What are some of your holiday highlights? We'd love to get some pictures as well. Pictures, videos, whatever it is that you can share with us on social media. We would love to hear it. And one other thing that I actually want to know about is, you know how everybody takes the year that we're in and turns it into a very quirky or witty kind of swing of the year. Like some people are calling 2020 20-plenty. What are you calling 2020 to give you that extra motivation as we start off this Monday morning, the very first of this year of 2020? Well, let's get into the headlines of the morning and keep you updated.
Thank you very much, Kat. A first look at those headlines. Traffic volumes were hectic on all major roads in South Africa yesterday as thousands of holiday makers started returning to their homes after the festive season. Motorists were urged to be patient as traffic was expected to remain heavy today. The Department of Social Development has opened its Gender-Based Violence Command Center to matriculants who may be anxious about their examination results. It also encourages those who fail their matric to take advantage of the Basic Education Department's Second Chance Matric Support Program. In international headlines, Al-Shabaab militants yesterday launched a pre-dawn attack on a shared US and Kenyan military airstrip located on Kenya's coast near the border with Somalia, officials said, adding that the assault was repulsed and 5 militants were killed on the 28th of December. Some 80 people were killed in a bombing in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu. Thousands of mourners swept into the Iranian city of Azaz early yesterday morning to receive the remains of Qasem Soleimani, the general killed in a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad last week. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei was warned of severe revenge. And finally, Japan's Kane Tanaka has extended her record as the world's oldest person by celebrating her 117th birthday at a nursing home in Fukuoka. She marked her birthday with a party yesterday along with staff and friends at the nursing home, and Guinness World Records last year confirmed Tanaka as the oldest living person. Tanaka's record age is symbolic of Japan's fast aging population, which, coupled with its failing birth rate, is raising concerns for future economic growth. Believed to be the oldest man alive is Freddie Blom from Delft on the Cape Flats, who celebrated his 115th birthday on the 8th of May last year. At his birthday party, Freddie quipped that if wisdom comes with age, he could be the wisest person in the world. And that's where we leave it for now. Here's Kat with a look at your sports.
A very good morning to all of our sports fans out there. Let's take a look at the latest headlines. In cricketing news, England extended their lead over South Africa on day 3 of the second test at Newlands Cricket Ground yesterday. Dom Sibley starred on the day, reaching 85 not out, helping the visitors to a 264-run lead over the Proteas. Moving on to rugby news, the Cheetahs and Southern Kings both suffered disappointing losses in the Pro 14 on Saturday, with the Cheetahs going down 41-13 to Zebra in Palmer, and the Kings who lost 61-13 to Edinburgh in Scotland. PSL action continued with log leaders Kaizer Chiefs suffering a 2-1 loss to SuperSport United, and other results saw defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns thrash AmaZulu 3-0, and Orlando Pirates were held to a 1-1 draw against Bloemfontein Celtic. And finally, FA Cup football returned this weekend with title holders Manchester City claiming a 4-1 victory over Port Vale. Liverpool snatched a 1-0 win over Everton, and Manchester United were held to a goalless draw against Wolves. That's a short look at the headlines. We'll have a more in-depth look with Garen Lambley very shortly, but right now, here's your weather.
A very good morning to you. It is 2020, the year of perfection. It's time to have the first look at your weather this morning. But first, we have asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Our regular photographer, Father Khan, sent us this incredible sunrise from Richards Bay, where a thunderstorm is expected this morning with humid conditions reaching a maximum of 32 degrees. It's going to be a very hot day. Make sure to have your sunscreen on. Another regular, Linda Macmillan, sent us this grey skyline from Durban, where rain can be expected from this afternoon afternoon with mainly cloudy conditions reaching a maximum of 28 degrees. Thank you so much for those sunrise pictures. We absolutely love seeing them. Keep them going, keep them flowing on social media because we love them. Right now, though, to have a look at the rest of the country, starting off with Polokwane. It's a partly cloudy day in PLK with a maximum of 30 degrees and a low of 18. And high humidity for Mbombela with a high of 31 and a low of 18 degrees. Pretoria, also a very hot one with a maximum of 32 and a low of 20 degrees this morning. Thunderstorms can be expected for Johannesburg with a low of 17 reaching a maximum of 29 degrees. Mahikeng with temperatures ranging from 19 peaking at 34 degrees. And a couple of showers for Klerksdorp at 19 reaching a high of 33 degrees. It seems like generally so far it's going to be a very warm day with a little bit of showers here and there. So make sure to be prepared for that weather. In Kimberley, it's a minimum of 20 degrees reaching a high of 35 degrees. And heavy rainfall for Bloemfontein at a low of 17 peaking at 33 degrees. Richards Bay, a high of 32 with a low of 23. And occasional rain for Pietermaritzburg at a low of 20 reaching a high of 30 degrees. And in Durban, South Africa's playground, its temperatures ranging from 24 degrees reaching a high of 28 degrees. And thunderstorms are expected for Mthatha with a low of 18 and a high of 25 degrees. East London, 20-25 and southeasterly wind of 13 kilometers an hour in Cradock at a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 34. The friendly city, Port Elizabeth, can expect temperatures with a low of 20 reaching a high of 24 degrees. And heavy rainfall for George at 17 reaching a high of 21. Sutherland, 14-25 and southerly wind of 18 kilometers an hour in Cape Town at a minimum of 17 reaching a max of 22. The lowest temperature in the country is Worcester at 15 peaking at 29 and Springbok peaking at 30 with a low of 16 degrees. And the highest temperature in the country is of course Uppington reaching a maximum of 37 degrees and a low of 23 degrees. That's your weather roundup. Make sure to have yourselves a fantastic Monday morning.
And it certainly will be a fantastic Monday morning. Happy New Year to you, Jamie.
Happy New Year to you too, boo-boos.
Are you feeling the energy and the vibe of starting off?
I just feel positive. We actually made this pact in the beauty room this morning.
Yeah.
All four ladies said that we're not going to start the day off on a negative note. So if we have to complain, you have 5 minutes to rant, and after the rant is done, you end it off with a positive note. So whatever you're saying, like, oh, I had such a bad day, but then you say, but you know what? Today is going to be a good day. So today is going to be a good day.
I'm going to keep the timer. So every day that you guys have your 5-minute rant, I'll be like, right, rant starts now.
You'll have
and then go
while
rant,
absorbing all the gossip for the day.
To go, and then boom, exactly. But,
all right, well, perfect. If you've just finished off your 5-minute rant right now, it's perfect timing because we're about to start you off with our quote of the day, a word of inspiration. This time round from one Sarah Ban Brethnach, who's a well-known philanthropist, a public speaker, best-selling author, and in her career she's published over 13 books and made guest appearances on popular TV shows that include the likes of the Oprah Winfrey Show as well. And her inspirational words and messages have received plenty of praise internationally. And she once said these words: "Take a leap of faith and begin this wondrous new year by believing." Let that sink in.
and it's straightforward. I love it.
Just start by believing in the very best of yourself, the best of every situation, the best of your dreams that you've set forth for yourself and the broader community around you, wishing everyone well. Just believing. Just launch yourself forth in that, hey? Well, that's...
That positive note. While you think about that, we'll take a quick break. We'll see you after this.
in the United States.
Stand up for 5, 4, 3, 2.
And finally, in the spirit of giving in the festive season, many South Africans took part in the challenge, which started on the hashtag I'm Staying Facebook page, calling on people who ate out during the period to give their waiters a more generous tip and not only the usual 10%. And in Indiana, USA, members of the Fisher's Fire Department were shopping for groceries when they were dispatched on an emergency call. The crew had to charge out of the store, and because sorry guys, the emergency. The crew had to charge out of the store and because of the urgency of the situation, left their groceries behind. When they returned, their groceries had been placed neatly in a cooler. An anonymous person had paid for them and left a note on them, the receipt of...
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Monday morning. This is your feel-good breakfast show. Garen Lambley joins us on the hot seat to recap some of the cricketing action and the sporting action that we've seen over the past week, 2 weeks or so, which has been absolutely fantastic. There's been so much sport to celebrate, and it's great to have you. Happy New Year, sir. Welcome back. How are you? How was
Very well.
How was your festive period?
It was nice and relaxed. Got away for a week, but it's always good to be back in Cape Town.
Back on the grindstone, and so much to talk about right now. The test between South Africa and England being one of the hot topics. Of course, we won the very first one at Centurion quite convincingly, 107-run victory. But right now, the English pegging us back a little bit. But if we were to look back first at that convincing performance by the Proteas, a very, very great energy booster for the Proteas setup, especially given exactly what's going on right now with the massive changes in cricket South Africa.
Absolutely. Plenty of changes, as you say, particularly off the field. You've got Graham Smith now as the director of cricket. You've got Jock Cullis involved. You've got Mark Boucher as the head coach. And they couldn't have got off to a better start than victory in the first test in Centurion. The English were hit by the flu bug, it must be said. Had a lot of players under the weather, but you know that's no excuse. And the Proteas certainly capitalised on that and went 1-0 up in the 4-test series. But this time around, it looks like England have bounced back. And yesterday's day 3 at Newlands certainly belonged to England, and now they, overwhelming favourites to maybe square the series at 1-1. Today will be certainly a very big day. The first session will be vital to sort of, see how this test pans out. South Africa looking for quick wickets. England looking for a total that they think they can defend and declare. And then hopefully, for their sake, bowl South Africa out in that 4th innings. The wicket looks like it might take some spin later on, particularly later in day 4 and 5. But it'll be a fascinating day if you certainly in the area get down to the ground.
Absolutely. 264-run lead right now that they have. And by many ways, one can say it's been a bit of a battle of the bowlers if you look at both tests so far. After that first innings where we bowled them out for a pretty paltry total in terms of test cricket, you might have thought we definitely have the upper hand, but they've certainly showed that the surface does have something to offer for the bowlers out there.
Absolutely, yeah. The batsmen have struggled, I think, in both tests from both sides. Not too many hundreds been scored, but certainly a lot of good performances by the bowlers, picking up fifers. So, they certainly have had the upper hand, and, that they could well go a long way to deciding the series. You need 20 wickets to win a match, so the bowlers are always the key there.
Yeah, well, let's hope that the boys do the job. The surgeon, KG and Anrich, who's bowling on home turf, of course, we'll keep you updated on the results there. Taking a look at PSL action, man, I was watching that SuperSport United versus Kaizer Chiefs game with bated anticipation, biting off my nails as a Chiefs fan, and what a game it was indeed. We'll show you the results there as they played out. But Kaizer Chiefs, obviously with a commanding lead right now at the top of the log, but still were really shown up by, I think, a very hard-working SuperSport United team on the day.
Yeah, not the ideal start to the year for Kaizer Chiefs. The lead is now 4 points over Mamelodi Sundowns, the defending champions. They're obviously not going to roll over and let their title go. Wits also there or thereabouts. They've got a couple of games in hand, which could be key. Obviously points in the bank, often better than games in hand. But if Wits were to win those, I think 3 games that they are behind, they could be tied at the top. And obviously SuperSport United, they're in the mix as well. Pirates, I think they might be a little bit too far off the pace, although they are in 6th place, so in the top half of the table. But I think 14 points behind at the halfway stage, probably too much for them to do to catch up. And obviously they would hate to see their bitter rivals Kaizer Chiefs walk away with the title.
I was about to say.
So it's all to play for in the PSL. It should be a great second half of the season.
Yeah, fantastic, and certainly looking forward to it. And with the Boxing Day matches that were being played, New Year's Day matches that were being played all around the world, especially in English football, they still managed to sneak in some FA Cup action over the weekend over there, where Manchester City beat Port Vale 4-1. Leicester City getting one over Wigan Athletic 2-0 over there. Manchester United and Wolves, that was quite a matchup, a 0-0 draw over there. But what do you make of the action that you saw from an FA Cup perspective?
I think fairly predictable for the third round. There were a couple of upsets, a couple of Premier League teams being knocked out. Everton losing to Liverpool, that was an all-Premiership match.
Yeah.
Obviously not ideal for Man United, who now have to go and replay their third match after the draw with Wolves, as you say. You know, that's the last thing. You sort of need another match that you didn't expect. But all the, you know, the bigger teams, if you like, Man City, Liverpool, they won fairly comfortably. Chelsea as well. I think Arsenal play this evening. So predictable third-round matches, but you sort of expect that. There's a couple of non-tier teams that get thrown into the draw up against these big glamour sides, and you know they fell a bit short there, but fairly predictable overall, I would say.
Yeah, but still, I guess, it's exciting football, especially for the fans, seeing some of the younger players coming through the structures of the football club to see what the future might look like. Taking a look at Rugby Pro 14, the Pro 14 tournament, where Southern Kings and Cheetahs just couldn't do the job against international
Not a
opposition.
good start to the new year for either of the South African teams. You know, had a bit of a break over the festive period. Both teams playing away. The Cheetahs particularly disappointing against what must be said is a fairly minnow zebra side from Italy. Haven't won many matches this season, and the Cheetahs went down 41-13, which is a bit of a hiding, must be said. So not great for Havis Fourie and his Cheetahs team. They're still there or thereabouts in playoff contention, but they'll certainly have to improve on that sort of performance if they hope to make the playoffs. And then the Kings, you know, they just can't sort of get out of first gear. They played well, but they were down to 12 men at one stage after a red card and a concussion and a yellow card. They ended up going down 61-13, which is a real hiding against what must be said is a pretty good Edinburgh side away from home. But, you know, that is a fair hiding, it must be said. So they'll, you know, I think Robbie Kempson, the coach, has got the ship pointed in the right direction, but they're sort of just struggling to get out of the harbour, if you like. It's just not happening for the Kings at the moment. And again, hopefully for the second half of the season, they do pick up some good wins. They've got a couple of home and away matches now against the Cheetahs, so familiar foes for them. Hopefully that, you know, sort of means they will, you know, play some better rugby back in South Africa. Yeah,
hoping for better performances moving forward. And of course, Garen Lambley is going to be staying with us later on. We're talking about some of the biggest sporting events that we can expect coming up in 2020, which include an exciting tennis match between the Fed Express and Rafa right here in Cape Town. In case you didn't know, you do know now. We'll be talking about that and a lot more later on.
All that excitement from catching up on this past week in sports to finding inspiration from sports. A feel-good story of note. We caught up with a 13-year-old boy who grew up amidst the social troubles and substance abuse so widespread in his Nyanga township. But until the Vusa Academy offered him and other boys rugby training at first-class facilities, nourishment and opportunities there as well. And today, that young kid is Springbok Sikhumbuzo Noche. And of course, the coaches and director of the academy, which opened those doors for him, are our Mandela Monday heroes for this week. Take a look at this.
Vusa began in 2001 as a part-time rugby program for children in the Langa community. As the program developed, director Brendan Fogarty and his team identified greater needs too.
I don't believe there's a better game for boys to play than rugby. Boys love to rough and tumble. Boys are out there constantly testing themselves, and I think rugby is one of the greatest tools for teaching the very skills that we often use as adults. Resilience, determination, team spirit, cooperation, abiding by the laws, and I think the biggest one is the self-discipline. You know, punctuality in sport is vital. Punctuality in the workplace is vital. So the skills that these children are learning on the sports field, I believe, are life skills that will see them through up into adulthood. There's this massive abundance of talent, and it needs to be nurtured. And so the sort of motivation behind the program is to get out and to allow children access to sport and supplement their academics that they're getting in the classroom. And the beauty of the program is that we employ people from the Langa community who understand the community, who understand the challenges that the children have, and they make ideal role models for our children.
Vusa also gives children access to extra academic lessons, computer facilities and recreational activities.
We
trying to help the kids realize that through sports you can actually become a better person. You're able to socialize with people. You can become better citizens through sports. So sport is not just like running and catching the ball. It teaches you how to be responsible and to be a good South African citizen.
It makes my spirit feel more ease because when I'm in here, I forgot all my problems.
It's good for us to live here because we all have fun here. We talk to each other, so we express our feelings to each other. So all the problems that I have, I share with others.
I learn friendship, sharing, and anything with staying with other people.
I like playing rugby, and I also love my teammates. Yeah, and also the coaches, they make me to feel comfortable.
More and more kids are starting to be in a structured program where they know after school they're coming to rugby training. So now they're in an environment where it's safe for them. They know exactly what's going to be happening, so they're staying off the streets. So they're becoming like a united family outside their own family. So those are the positive perspectives that we have, and we want to build better citizens through sports.
The motivation comes from making a difference. To see the joy on the kids' faces every time they come out, when they master drills, when they get things right in the classroom. I think that's the real motivation, is to see kids having fun and kids growing.
The VUSA program provides a hub of excellence in Langa to address challenges early on in a child's life, creating opportunities and a safe space for children to learn, play and grow.
Ladies, how inspiring is that?
Amazing.
Just showing
beautiful.
the power of believing. Just believing in something. It doesn't matter what circumstances you find yourself in, what environment you find yourself in. You believe in yourself. There are always people out there looking to help. And that's why those people are this week's Mandela Monday heroes. We love it.
And we absolutely love it. It's 2020. We're all about believing in ourselves, you know, and starting off strong. But firstly, before we get into the show's festivities, this princess.
Yes, Nana.
We believe in you. We believe
we have missed her.
We have, and you look fresh, you look rested.
Yes.
How was your holiday?
Oh, it was very nice.
You have that glow, you have that like, hello.
Princess, I can't tell you when the last time I had a really quality, decent cup of coffee was. So I'm so happy to see you. Oh, Mtase Arabica! Bring it on, baby! Bring it on!
We love you.
It's a cappuccino with my favorite, the hazelnut syrup. Oh, perfection. I absolutely love it.
Thank you, Nana.
So while we're topping up, or not rather topping up, getting our first cup of coffee, go top up yours or get your first one as well and step into the day on the feel-good side of life. We'll see you after this.
A taste loved by those who have tried it. McAfee, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
Only you can make my day.
Why are you doing that?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very happy Monday to you and the best of mornings as we start off our Expresso journey of 2020 on this, the 6th of January. Thank you for joining us, and you're right on time right now to get to know our guest artist, Yannick Son, who is a South African-born artist raised in the mother city. And thereafter, he then relocated to Amsterdam to expand his music brand internationally, and he's garnered increasing support and appeal in Europe, subsequently signing with East Garden Music while frequently performing all over Netherlands and in Germany. And he joins us in studio on his visit to South Africa before jetting back home to work on new music. Great to have you here with us, man, as our first music guest of 2020, man. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you, man?
We're very well, thank you. How does it feel being back?
It feels great, man. Yeah? Feels great. It's cold. I come back warm, doing me, man. It's great to be back, man.
It's absolutely great to have you as a guest on the show today. We want to delve into, your career. Your most recent career highlight was opening up for Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
Take us through all of that. That's big.
So I started doing the music here in Cape Town and stuff, and things were happening slowly, and I was getting a few gigs here and there, and then I decided I needed something new. So I started going to Amsterdam just for holidays and stuff, and and I met people, and I'm like, nah, man, this is where I need to be, man. I'm connecting with all these guys, I'm making friends, and so I decided to relocate there, or move there, and within like 4 months, I'm already getting a gig in Berlin, opening for Erykah Badu. I'm like, nah, I'm staying here. I'm staying here.
Say what?
So, and I did another one now, I think it was like a month ago, where I opened for Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5.
Oh, wow.
So, things are going really nice, Yeah.
We'll talk about the reason why you're here right now.
Yeah.
What do you think is it that's resulted in that kind of quick success, if you want to call it that, in 4 months in, you already do gigs?
Yeah.
What's happening in Europe, in Amsterdam?
What are they doing differently? I think it's just because it's Amsterdam. I think the opportunities are more. I think.
A lot more international artists touring to Berlin.
There are a lot more.
Amsterdam.
There are a lot more international shows in Amsterdam. I think so. Those opportunities for us up and coming artists to open for these guys are more as well. You know what I mean?
But how did that happen though? So like Erykah Badu, you opened for her, right? Did her people call you?
No. The guys who were organizing the show saw me on Instagram when I released an EP called "Take Me to the Moon" on the 19th of January. These guys started messaging me, I like your stuff. Can I hear more from you and some of your unreleased music? And then I just sent them stuff, and then they were like, yo, man, we like you. Come and do a show for us.
Wow, man. Talk about opportunity.
He makes it look so easy, but I guess it's preparation.
Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. You have that one song where that's a banger, and then they're like, oh man, we like you, come.
Nice one.
Now you're back in Cape Town to record a music video for your latest song, What Once Was. How did the song come about?
What Once Was, it's a breakup song, actually. But it's not, I'm not talking about my own personal experiences. It's like everybody's experiences with a bad breakup, and I try to add like a comedic element to it.
Okay.
It's just a song you can use to overcome a bad relationship.
Yeah, man.
I love that.
And now here you are. You're now living and based in
Amsterdam.
In the West. How long has this been now?
A year and 4 months now.
Yeah, you're acclimatized to the culture, and you're loving things over there. What can we expect from you then in the future, based there, bringing music to the world?
Yeah, I've got a lot of new singles that I've lined up for this year.
Yeah.
More music videos, more shows. I've got a really cool show on like this. Amsterdam is really big on the canal vibes, the canal parties. So I just landed a really dope gig where I'll be hosting all these, the Dutch people, and I kind of have to speak a bit of Dutch to the people. I'm still learning Dutch.
So you got your Goedemorgen.
It's there. It's coming. I'm having fun, man. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
But before we let you go, where can people find you?
You can find Instagram at Yannick Songa, YouTube Yannick Songa, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Napster, all these streaming platforms. You can get me there at Yannick Songa.
Hey man, well done to you. Very, very happy for your success.
Thank you, man.
Great to have you here on the show, and cannot wait to hear you performing. Make sure that you catch those live performances right here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, and then of course let us know what you think. To you, we say dankie wel, man. Dankie wel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very hard.
Clover Good Hope Soy Milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh, Yannick, so fantastic to have you here. Time for that kitchen goodness right now. So the question is, do you remember all that delicious festive and holiday foods that you've been eating? I'm sure it's not a distant memory, but with most of our new resolutions that are coming through for the new year, we're on the path to eating much healthier. A lot of people are talking about it. Today, we're creating a vegan crudité platter. Yes, that's right. You're going to replace the crisps, the cold meats with fresh veggies. And it sounds so exciting, but if you're you're worried, don't be. It will be soy delicious, and it is perfect for summer. And of course, hashtag Veganuary, which is a whole thing.
Veganary.
Veganary.
I
But
love
it's all
it.
about people approaching a healthier way of living and eating, and it starts in the kitchen. It starts with what you're putting inside your system, right?
body.
So, Auntie Jamie Lee, do you know what's going on here, or should I take you through?
I do actually know a little bit.
Okay,
So I am
okay.
very excited to try this because I'm not a bit of veganary. Try this, but this is a cup of oil, right?
Yes. You got that oil going in there.
And just see the butter glow, and then honey can go in there. Now, if you're very strict, if you're like a strict vegan, you can substitute it with something else.
Yes, maple syrup is perfect if you're not using honey. So if you're looking for that honey alternative, you still can have all the goodness, but still, keep it healthy according to your own rules by using maple syrup. Okay.
There we go, and then we're going to throw in some mustard. Have faith like mustard. There we go.
Nice.
Throw it in over there, and then this is.
Ooh, freshly chopped chives. I love them. I love chives. Ooh, nice. Okay. And then, of course, you've got the vinegar as well, just to bring all of that flavor, sort of break it down. Some salt, and then you've got some pepper as well. And then you've got your Clover Good Hope soy milk, which is the deal. This seals the deal. The Clover Good Hope soy milk is naturally lactose and cholesterol free, and it is vegan friendly, which is fantastic. That's the news we want to be hearing. It is tasty. It's a tasty dairy alternative that will not leave you bloated and suffering from stomach pains. And I've heard a lot of people over the festive season just sort of suffering from stomach pains from having all of those dairy products. This is perfect as an alternative for that, but it is also a source of protein and energy, and it contains vitamins and minerals. And if you want to get your hands on this recipe that we're making here, the keyword is Clover. SMS Clover to 33728, and we will send it to you. So we're going to get that soy goodness in here.
In there, and that's what you have to do. So that is everything, and now it's going to be your turn to just give it a nice good
So
mix.
you've already thrown it in here?
I've thrown everything in there.
So it's in here to emulsify.
It smells amazing. I wish you could smell it, but it already smells amazing.
But those chives are coming through, hey? Okay, cool. So we're getting that in here.
Oh, yes.
And then get it all mixing up together. This is great because it's really easy to make as well. When you make a bit of like a dip situation like this, you want it to be quick and convenient, because this is something you want to make quick on the go to snack throughout the day at work. But the nice thing about it is that not only is it an easy thing to make and an easy meal to make, is you can actually also still impress people when you're hosting at your house. I'm sure some of you are still on holiday and you're looking to have that lunch going on this afternoon. This will be absolutely perfect, and it is really awesome to dip with your veggies. So you can dip this with your carrots, you can dip celery sticks with it.
So
you can have your baby corn as well with it. There's so much you can do with it.
Some broccoli, even some nice
broccoli
would
as
be yummy
well.
with
And I
this.
know we're saying vegan and keeping away from the crisps, but you do have one or two people who still want to have their crisps. They actually can dip their crisps in here and feel like they're doing half the good work.
Do you know what? I actually want to put chicken wings in there. I want so bad. Like, my mind just like, chicken wings would go so nice with that. Just be
Behave,
like,
it's
pop it in there.
Veganuary. Would you like to grab a carrot or a celery stick or
yes, a
something
carrot
like
would be
that? And that keyword, once again, is Clover to 33728 if you want an SMS sent to you with the link. Happy eating! So yum, right?
Clover Good Hope soy milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
A very healthy start to the day.
Very, very healthy. Summer well to start off my day like that on a daily basis, you know?
Well, yes, the opportunity to do so right now. The kitchen's full of it. But how were your eating habits over the festive season? Were you good?
Careless. I was devouring every single thing in front of me. Not that I intentionally watch what I eat when I eat, especially when I'm this side, but when I'm at home, I find that because I have nieces and nephews around, we're always eating sweets, we're always snacking on this, we're always snacking on that, so it's been very bad.
Really?
And I just say to you that I actually feel like I need to detox.
Well, okay, yeah, you did say that. And I just say, like, just drink water. Just drink a lot of water and it'll naturally do its thing in your body. I think I was half careless, half watching it, because I'm still trying to get on the whole plant-based thing. Or just like, you know, when you look at a plate, that most, like 70% of that plate should be something that is wholesome, that is whole food, that is natural.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, I feel like that, you know, you're going on a good path. But
you're on the right track.
how are your eating habits over the festive season? Let us know. Have you managed to stick to some kind of diet? Are you still on it? Have you ditched it? Are you starting a new one now with a new year and a new you? We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, at Expresso Show on Twitter, at Expresso Show on Instagram. We are all up in there.
We're all up in there.
We're going to take a quick break. 35 seconds to go with like... Are we doing the whole thing? And finally, in the spirit of giving in the festive season, many South Africans took part in the challenge, which started on the hashtag I'm Staying Facebook page, calling on people who ate out during that period to give their waiters a more generous tip, and not only the usual 10%. And in Indiana, USA, members of the Fishers Fire Department were shopping for groceries when they were dispatched on an emergency call. The crew had to charge out of the store, and because of the urgency of the situation, left their groceries behind. When they returned, their groceries had been placed neatly in a cooler. An anonymous person had paid for them and left a note on the receipt that simply read, "Thank you for your service." Well, on that feel-good note, those are your headlines on the Africa Channel.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your feel-good breakfast show. It's Expresso live on SABC3. It's the 6th of Jan, our first live broadcast for 2020. Welcome to it. Thank you so much for choosing to wake up with us. Yes, all the feel-good, all the way through to 9 o'clock. It's time for us to find out what's been happening in the world of entertainment, because they don't take a break over there. They do not.
They don't, yeah. We may have been away, but of course, the world of entertainment hasn't stopped revolving, and many exciting things have happened to the stars over the festive season. And one way to ring in the new year is by getting a new spouse, you know? New year, new me, new spouse.
That sounds nice.
Well, that's exactly what...
Where do you buy them?
That's exactly how veteran American comedian Kathy Griffin saw in 2020 when she and her longtime boyfriend Randy Beck had an unconventional ceremony on New Year's Day. Well, the couple who've been dating since 2011 made the announcement with a fun video in which she and Randy send their New Year's wishes and announcing their surprise engagement and shortly ensuing wedding ceremony by saying, "Surprise, we're getting married."
Wow.
Tonight.
Wow.
After midnight.
Wow.
And you're going to die when you see the officiant. So that was the announcement over there. And the officiant actually turned out to be celebrated actress Lily Tomlin. And the comedian is enjoying her honeymoon phase by posting some of the wedding gifts that she's received from her famous friends. And she took to Instagram on Friday to share a beautiful flower arrangement sent to her by her quote-unquote maid of honor, Kim Kardashian.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, and her mother, Kris Jenner. So apparently that is the gift that she got from them over there. And
So people were actually invited.
Yeah, they just knew long before.
We all found out.
Just imagine that.
She's a comedian. It's trick because you like when you see that at first, you're like, is this a joke? And then until you see the pictures the next day.
Anyway, speaking of the Kardashian-Jenner clan, news has been abuzz about Kendall Jenner and what she got up to on New Year's Eve. She was spotted with her ex-NBA pro player, Ben Simmons, in downtown Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where Simmons had rented out a rooftop to see in 2020. Now, enthusiasts of the world's most famous family get excited when they hear anything about Kendall's dating life, as she's notoriously private about who she may or may not be seeing. And while she had confirmed that she and Ben dated for a while, they then split due to their business schedules. And explaining why mum's the word when it comes to who she's dating, she said this, and quote, "A relationship is only meant to be between two people. And the second you make it the world's business is when it starts messing with the people, with the two people mentally. And once everyone is let in, you're letting all these opinions into your relationships, and I don't think that's fair. I'm very young, and right now I feel like relationships aren't always super certain, and I don't want to bring too much attention to something. What are you guys laughing at? I'm trying to quote Kendall Jenner here. Okay?
We're listening to you.
Continuing, something if you don't really know if it's long term. You know? Okay, wait. So clearly you guys have the inside track on Kendall Jenner's relationship and dating life.
This is interesting that she says, like, they always like to say they like to keep their stuff private. We're like, well, that's nice. How about you stop your reality show where you put it in, where we have to keep up with you, where you make us follow these people that you're dating, where you do everything to put it in our
guys,
face.
in her defense, though, this is Kendall we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where Keeping Up with the Kardashians is more centered around Kim, her mom,
but
and
Kendall
her two
appears
sisters.
on that show with her.
And also, Kendall has some dirt in the closet as well, because apparently she also once dated Jordan's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
The same Jordan that they slaughtered for that whole saga.
Okay, Miss Drama Queen, they did not slaughter her. Nobody was slaughtered during the making of the camera, at least to my knowledge. Anyway, only time will tell what 2020 will bring for these two potential lovebirds. We wish them all of the best. Kendall, you do your thing. Do the privacy thing.
Live your life,
block.
Just
block Kuse and block me.
Shady.
Oh, wow. Anyway, so that's some of the stuff that was happening to the celebs over the festive period. What about you guys? What did you get up to? What were some of your highlights?
I don't have anything dramatic, to be very honest with you.
It doesn't have to be dramatic.
No, so I just drove down to PE to visit my family.
How long was the drive?
It's like 8
Who
hours.
did you go?
From here.
I went with a friend of mine, actually. Two friends of mine. It was like a road trippy type of thing.
Nice.
Absolutely fun. Very long, though. But got home, saw my family, because I hadn't seen them ever since we won, remember? So it was the first time there was excitement around that.
Was there anything slaughtered in celebrating?
Are you all about slaughtering?
Hey.
No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Nothing was slaughtered in the celebrations at Kuche's house.
Everyone was safe.
Everyone is
But I'm sure everyone was so happy to see you and celebrating you as you
Were you like a
arrived.
celeb?
No, not a celeb. It's just like, di ko na TV wena. No, mama, besa TV. It's so cute, and you're just like, oh. This other time, my sister tweeted, we went to the mall to buy a few things for Christmas, but I was crusty. I didn't have my wig on. I didn't have makeup on.
That's basically what she looks like without the wig on.
This is what I look like.
What are you talking about?
Picture. I'm like, are you serious, ma'am? Right now? But then you have to be like, no, my picture's there on Facebook. Look at Kanye. No,
But it's
enough
the
about
love
me.
that you appreciate all of that love.
How was yours?
Well, let's have a look at some of the comments that have come through.
No, we're talking about your
We're talking about
highlights.
Hammanskraal was really awesome.
What did you do in Hammanskraal?
I went to Hammanskraal for Christmas to spend time with the family, and it was really awesome. I got to spend time with my grandparents. I hadn't seen them in a really long time. And you know, they're aging. They become so cute as they age. The stories that they tell become even funnier with age, and I really appreciated that. Got to spend time with my niece who's going to grade 1 now this week, which is really fantastic. So prepping her for that. And then I came back to Cape Town just for the rest of it for New Year's. It was really awesome.
Loved your best
And you,
one.
what about you, Jimmy?
Family. I just had a lot of family. I've seen my family for this past 2 weeks more than I have in the past 27 years of my life. But it was amazing. Like literally everyone, we have this annual family reunion. So we just all like went out. It's like, you know, Medea's family reunion when everyone's like there's a barbecue and there's dancing. And like there's a lot of people came from like Sweden and from Johannesburg. What was the whole Johannesburg in Cape Town about that? Like I don't get throw shade, but the whole Johannesburg.
It's beautiful in the mother city.
I know,
right?
but so that was just family and then spending time with Luca, not having an alarm clock. So it was amazing. What about you?
I think family was the thing as well. Having had a very busy 2019, we kind of decided that we're going to be at home and do as little as possible for as long as possible. An energetic 18-month-old who has like he's like everything is new and discoverable and every word is now pronounceable and like he's learning so much, and it was amazing to watch him kind of take on like his own personality, because now like the word no is a real thing.
Yeah, he's not
So,
just
like
saying it
now
for
it's
fun.
like we need to clean your boda. No. 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 Oh no. Did you make a poo poo? Oh no. Oh no. No poo poo. So it was very exciting. To spend some time with the family and just to kind of build our little nucleus there.
Yeah. I'm so excited. No, but
really,
you didn't bake any assista for the little one yet?
No.
During that time.
Do you know how expensive it is to raise a child?
Because you're spending so much time,
economy.
you might start talking about that.
Like raising a child has economic impacts, and you need to think about those things before you go, oh, let's get you a playmate. There's a whole park full of playmates. You know what I mean? Maybe it's about time you bake one, and then we can have play dates together, Uncle Tabzi.
And post the receipts. Post the receipts. Then you will know.
What do you say about that?
Cool, we'll do it.
I tell you what, whilst we discuss this, let's take a quick break. This is how 2020 is starting, y'all. So, Tabzi.
The pressure, yes.
I was thinking a little baby girl would be very cute.
Yeah. Okay, sweetie, time to blow out your candles.
Don't ruin the moment. Prevent allergies or cold and flu with fast-acting powder nasal spray from the Nexa range. Nexa, brought to you by Pharmacodynamics.
Going to be in the back or just going to be like this?
What be your main camera?
All right.
But like,
I look in this one maybe? Yes. Can I drop it a little? Yeah, this is nice.
What song will you take?
Conversation.
Conversation. My second one.
Yeah, man.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's a Monday morning on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Thank you for joining us. First episode of 2020, first performance of 2020 coming up right now from Yannick Song. Now here he is with a song called Conversations.
Yeah. Conversations. Blessings and writer's block was my lyrical depression, like searching for these words but they keep you guessing. I couldn't leave behind what I was digressing from. Conversations with myself, yeah, I'm having conversations with myself, yeah, like man I think I need the help, yeah, like man I think I need the help, yeah, trapped in a world where there was no one else, yeah, I don't believe this were the cards I dealt, yeah, my rainbow don't have all the colors, something's missing. It doesn't have green, that's why I lack ambition. Sometimes I felt like, sometimes my mind tripping. And every day that I lose, I sacrifice my wisdom. Don't follow me where I go, I'm reinventing my soul. Don't follow me where I go. Yeah, yeah, I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah, I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah, 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 Yeah. I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah, I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah. Second verse, yeah. To run away from my problems, I find a way to an island. Still broken with bliss, I walk with some all the mileage. When I get to the destination, I'm claiming asylum. Claiming asylum, claiming asylum. My head's in the sky like road rage with a pilot. Yo, it's only me on the earth, still everyone's divided. Listen to the story of a misguided man, but it's one-sided. But looking back on opportunities I blew, but I can handle some shit, but not the shit that's true. Yeah, looking back on opportunities I blew, but I can handle some shit, but not the shit that's true. I claim you got the voodoo, I heard more than you do, I heard more than you do, so pray I don't find you cool like the color blue. Yeah, wanna be cool like the color blue. Yeah, wanna be cool like the. I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah, I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah. I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah, I'm having conversations with myself. Yeah. Thank you very much. My name's Yannick Song. Peace out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's how we started off on this 2020. Yannick's song with Conversations is deep, man.
Thank you very much.
That was very,
man.
very nice. Let us know what you thought about that performance on our Expresso Morning Show SABC3 Facebook page. We'll have more performances coming to you live on this Monday morning. Right now, here's the news headlines.
Thank you very much, Kat. A look at those news headlines. Traffic volumes were hectic on all major roads around South Africa yesterday as thousands of holiday makers started returning home after the festive season. More than 1,000 vehicles per hour were passing through the toll gates on the N1 heading towards Gauteng, while some 1,500 vehicles per hour were heading from KZN towards Johannesburg on the N3. Traffic volumes also remained high on the N1 and N2 and on other major routes in the Western Cape. Motorists were urged to be patient as traffic was expected to remain heavy today. The Department of Social Development has opened its Gender-Based Violence Command Center to matriculants who may be anxious about their examination results. The matric class of 2019 will receive their results on Wednesday, and reports of depression and suicide tend to increase during this time. The department urges matriculants and their parents to make use of the command center to receive counseling and support from trained social workers. The department also encourages those who fail their matric to take advantage of the Basic Education Department's Second Chance Matric Support Program. And in international news, Al-Shabaab militants yesterday launched a pre-dawn attack on a shared US and Kenyan military airstrip located on Kenya's coast near the border with Somalia, officials said, adding that the assault was repulsed. Kenyan police said 2 airplanes, 1 Kenyan and 1 American, along with 2 US helicopters were destroyed in the attack. There were no casualties, but the bodies of 5 attackers were found. Al-Shabaab is linked to Al-Qaeda and its headquarters in neighboring Somalia. And on the 28th December, some 80 people were killed in a bombing in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu. Thousands of mourners swept into the Iranian city of Avaz yesterday after to receive the remains of Qasem Soleimani, the general killed in a US drone strike in Baghdad last week. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei has warned of severe revenge, and President Trump, who authorized the attack, an option refused by both Presidents Bush and Obama as too risky, said that the US was ready to strike 52 sites important to Iran and their Iranian culture if Tehran retaliated. Some US military experts regard targeting cultural sites as a war crime. And finally, in the spirit of giving in the festive season, many South Africans took part in the challenge, which started on the #I'mStaying Facebook page, calling on people who ate out during that period to give their waiters a more generous tip and not only the usual 10%. And in Indiana, USA, members of the Fishers Fire Department were shopping for groceries when they were dispatched on an emergency call. The crew had to charge out of the store and, because of the urgency of the situation, left their groceries behind. When they returned, the groceries had been placed neatly in a cooler. An anonymous person had paid for them and left a note on the receipt that simply read, "Thank you for your service." And on that feel-good note, we leave it for now. The next report in just over half an hour. Here's Kat with a look at your sports.
In the latest latest sporting headlines on this Monday morning. England extended their lead over South Africa on day 3 of the second test at Newlands Cricket Ground yesterday. Dom Sibley starred on the day, reaching 85 not out, helping the visitors to a 264-run lead over the Proteas. England lost 2 wickets later on, that of Joe Root and night watchman Dom Bess, to close on 218 for 4. Day 4 action will continue from 10 a.m. today. In rugby news, the Cheetahs and Southern Kings both suffered disappointing losses in the Pro 14 on Saturday, with the Cheetahs going down 41-13 to Zebre in Palmer and the Kings losing 61-13 to Edinburgh in Scotland. Edinburgh ran in 8 tries against the Kings, who were reduced to 12 men at some point during the match. The Kings remain at the bottom of Conference B, while the Cheetahs now slip to 4th in Conference A. In football news, PSL action continued with log leaders Kaizer Chiefs suffering a 2-1 loss to SuperSport United. Other results saw defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns thrash Amazulu 3-0 and Orlando Pirates were held to a 1-1 draw against Bloemfontein Celtic. The Amakosi remain at the top of the standings with Sundowns in 2nd place, 4 points ahead of SuperSport United in 3rd. The Buccaneers sit in 5th place behind Bidvest Fits. And finally, FA Cup football returned this weekend with title holders Manchester City claiming a 4-1 victory over Port Vale. Liverpool snatched a 1-0 win over Everton and Manchester United were held to a goalless draw against Wolves. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side could not manage a single shot on target in a domestic game for the first time in 5 years. Both Man City and Liverpool have now progressed to the 4th round of the competition, and United and Wolves will now have a 3rd round replay. The 4th round draw will take place later on today. And those are your sporting headlines on this Monday morning. Right now, let's take a look at the roads.
It's 4 minutes past 7. It's time to have the first look at your traffic this beautiful Monday morning. Starting off in Germiston, Gauteng, there is a stationary vehicle on the N12 westbound before Croft Road. 1 lane is blocked. Please approach this area with caution. And in the Western Cape, Delft, on the R300 southbound, there has been an accident before the N2 interchange, obstructing 2 lanes. Delays can be expected, so please keep a lookout for this. And lastly, Metrorail Central Line. The train service between Cape Town and Chris Hani remains suspended indefinitely due to extensive vandalism. It is advised to use an alternative mode of transport this morning. That's your 7 o'clock traffic roundup. Right now it's time for the weather with Jamie.
Absolutely a beautiful day. Our first day back for 2020. And this morning we've asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Andre Becker sent us this amazing skyline from Potchefstroom, where a thunderstorm is expected in spots throughout the day, with cloudy conditions reaching a maximum of 33 degrees. Now Sam Cross sent us this spectacular skyline from Durban, the D'Urbs, where heavy showers can be expected with humid conditions and occasional thunderstorms reaching a maximum of 28 degrees. A beautiful day indeed. Let's take a look at the rest of the country, starting off in Polokwane with a low of 18 and a high of 30 degrees. High humidity can be expected for you, Umbumbela, ranging from 18 to 31 degrees as well. If you're out in Pretoria, it is a low of 20 and a high of 32. And thunderstorms can also be expected for you, Johannesburg, with a low of 17 and a high of 29. Mahikeng, 19, 34. And a couple of showers for you, Klerksdorp, with a low of 19, and a high of 33. For you, Kimberley, it is 20, 35. And heavy rainfall expected for Bloemfontein, ranging from 17 to 33 degrees. If you're out in Richards Bay, it's 23, 32. And occasional rain for Pietermaritzburg, ranging from 20 to 30 degrees. Durban, 24, 28, and thunderstorms expected from Mthatha, ranging from 18 to 25 degrees. East London, 20, 25, and a southeasterly wind of 13 kilometers per hour for you, Craddock, with a low of 17 and a high of 34. For Port Elizabeth, it's 20, 24, and heavy rainfall for George with a low of 17 and a high of 21. Sutherland, 14, 25, and a southerly wind of 18 kilometers per hour for UK Town with a low of 17 and a high of 22. So make sure to wear a flowy dress today. Now the lowest temperature in the country can be found in Worcester with a low of 15 and a high of 29. If you're out in Springbok, it is 16, 30. And the highest temperature in the country can be found in Uppington with a low of 23, peaking at 37. But of course, whatever you choose to do, make it count.
Make it count.
Always do. And I think a lot of you made the festive season count.
Yeah.
Definitely, because on Expresso Morning Show SABC3, which is our Facebook page, we've asked you to let us know what were some of your holiday highlights.
Yeah.
What did you get up to? What did we miss out on? Hopefully some pictures, some videos. Should we take a look at the comments?
We've received some really interesting ones. Here is a comment that we have received from Felicia. Okay, so this one has got to do, it's a fashion expression. So Felicia Peterson says, even though I didn't win the Woolies voucher, Mama still got her something special.
Yes!
Leanne, you're next. Happy holiday, you guys. So basically, just showing us that she went on and got Jamie Lee's dress that Jamie Lee's won, as well as the dress that you've won, the yellow one that you've won on the show as well.
I just want to focus on that line where she says, Leanne, you next. Does that mean she's ended? She's ended Kutle.
Jamie Lee and Kutle, it's over, you're cancelled, and Leanne is basically next. This is really nice.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. It's so cute how she actually takes the time to make these collages and post them on Facebook. It's like, I assassinated you. Who weren't best?
Style
I did.
assassin.
You next.
Yeah, and even though I didn't win the voucher, I still went out and got the look. That's what we mean by hashtag get the look, right? So it shouldn't come as a surprise when people do get the look and then they end you.
We finish you.
Luckily, nobody's like gunning for us. We're good.
I think let's not speak too soon. Someone's watching right now and is going to get a black shirt like I'm wearing and a black golfer like you're wearing.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso, live on SABC3. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Time for us to check out what our celebrities over here in Mzansi have been getting up to. Cat Factor.
Yes, indeed. Now, earlier on, we gave you a roundup of how our favorite stars saw in the new year, and now we're about to delve into the Christmas period. Now, while the festive season is known for a time of celebration, getting together with loved ones who travel to see us, unfortunately, it is also a time when the roads claim the very lives of those who we hold nearest and dearest to us. And this is unfortunately the case for one of Mzansi's shining stars, Shoma Jozi, who is struggling to come to terms with the tragic and sudden passing of her younger sister, Makanani Nyeleti Manganye. Now, her life was ended in a car accident in Bungeni village, Limpopo, on the 17th of December, and she was laid to rest on the 22nd of December. And after a short break from social media and a few cancelled public appearances, she took to Twitter to express her grief, saying, quote,
quote, you guys did not mention that the toughest thing after losing someone close to you is believing it, that the biggest effort will be spent suppressing the hope that there's been a mistake, that the person is going to reappear somehow and that life will go back to normal. And she added that what has made the experience even more painful is the time of year, saying, quote, everyone else is celebrating and their lives are perfect, and if you're feeling like you're the only one, you are not. I'm hurting too. So sad to have had that happen, I guess in general, but more specifically, I mean, in this time, you can't imagine what she must have been going through at the time, right?
Because she's been traveling the entire year, and the one time you get to go home to spend some time with your family, you lose someone very close to you, in this case, her little sister, you know, so it's very emotional, and, you know, I think almost all of us can relate to how she's feeling in terms of loss.
I think losing someone to an accident like how she lost her sister is really amongst the most devastating ways. You have no chance to say goodbye and you have no closure. One moment they're there and then they get on the road and they don't return. Sad. So we do send our condolences.
Absolutely.
Shoma Josie.
Our heartfelt condolences go out to Shoma Josie and her family during this very difficult time. And Mzansi has shown massive support for the Gom rapper by sending her pictures of the colorful and intricate braided hairstyles that she has become famous for. It's been her trademark look, of course, and people are showing her support there. Now, another superstar who's embracing a social media break is British singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran. Now, on Christmas Eve, he took to Instagram in his very cavalier kind of style to say, hello all, I'm going to go on a break, another break again. The Divide era and tour changed my life in so many ways, but now it's time, it's all over and it's time to go out and see more of the world. And at the final show that he had of his tour in August, he revealed that he had planned to take a break from music for a while. And according to The Sun, Sheeran told the crowd in Ipswich, England, that that would be his last gig for probably the next 18 months or so. But fans don't need to fear, because he did add this. He says, I'll be back with new music when the time is right and I've lived a little more and actually have something to write about. And in that case, we hope that 2020 really goes fantastically for him on his adventures and that he comes back to just bring us more great music. What I'm wondering about now is that we've had 4 albums from Ed, right? There's been Divide, there's been Multiply.
18
was a single, wasn't it? All of them featuring like a symbol of mathematics of sorts.
Oh, is it?
You know what I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
You guys aren't Ed Sheeran fans.
I know that I love him, but I don't know like how many
I was wondering what's he gonna make the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like percent or like.
Probably algebra.
Times. Multiply. Square root of.
Death. It's going to be interesting. He's been such a good run, and I think 18 months of social media for Ed Sheeran, that's brilliant. I hope that in that 18 months he is writing the music, so when he does return in 18 months' time, we are hitting the road once again.
100%. Also, this is up to you, Rihanna and Adele.
Oh, are you guys thirsty for their music?
No, but Adele broke up with her boyfriend, so just give it 2 more months. Then we're going to get a...
And Rihanna lied. She says he's dropping on the 1st. It's the 6th, ma'am.
She's the richest paid musician, female musician. She doesn't need, like, she
doesn't need us anymore.
She doesn't need to make music. Absolutely. You know?
Right now, though, we are celebrating love, and everybody loves a wedding. This past Friday on Isiding, our favorite Soapy, and we saw the traditional union of the power couple Usichaba and Pindi. So Utolo Piri went behind the scenes to give us the inside scoop of what went down. Let's check it out.
Since July 1998, South Africans have been on a journey filled with happiness, heartbreak, suspense, danger, excitement, and so much more, as we've all come to know and love all the people who've been residents of the small mining town of Horizon Deep.
These residents, of course, are all characters in the Soapy Isidingo, and the wedding of the year between Horizon Deep Mayor Sachaba Moloi Matabane and Sabeko gold geologist Pandile Shezi has brought characters old and new to the small community to celebrate.
The reason for the wedding in Horizon Deep, that's where the story is based. It can't be anywhere else. I mean, we are deep people where this is the HD. Everything happens here. The television series is here. The television station is here. Everything is here. The gold is here. This is where we strike gold. So it's very important for the Matabane roots, because this is where we come from the Free State, yes, but we've grown up here, you know. Parents grew up here, grandchildren were born here. So where else, really? You can't make it has to be in this deep in the Northwest. It has to be.
It's a big thing. I mean, it's a big storyline for Sechaba, and it affects the family as well, the Matabane family, because now Pindile's character is going to become a permanent in the house, and already there's a nice dynamic in the Matabane house. So this just adds to that. The aunties are here, and yeah, it's been fun shooting these scenes, man.
The actors at the helm of this highly popular power couple, Mutlatsi Mafatse and Simpiwe Ngema, had been on the same roller coaster ride as viewers when it finally became time to start their journey down the aisle.
The couple have faced multiple challenges, including a possible pregnancy with another woman, Tapindi's kidnapping, and the tragic farm fire that claimed the lives of beloved parents Bra Zeb and Ma Agnes. This important day is a momentous and special occasion for the star-crossed lovers.
Mutlatsi, we know that being at a wedding is all about the woman dressing up and the bride getting all the attention, but why would you think it's important for the groom to also turn up as stylishly dressed as you are here today?
Look, I think Sechaba does not really dress up that much, and he thinks, no man, I mean, this is for the bride. But then Pindi was like, no man, just change your life. Hey, I'm here to make you shine, and you better also make me look good, right? So yeah, I think that's why they went and we got Kosi, just to make us look nice and hot and look trendy, and yeah, also take this cultural theme to another level.
Despite Simpiwe's relatively recent addition to the cast, she has become a firm fan favorite due to the palpable chemistry between her character Pindi and Sechaba.
Firstly, I had to build a relationship with Mutlatsi, the actor, first, before we could even have chemistry on set. We spent a lot of time, and it meant rehearsing together a lot. And if the chemistry is not there, you can tell. So you have to know the actor that you are acting with. So yeah, that's how we built the relationship.
I think we are all hoping that this marriage or this couple will make it, because they always face a lot of trials and you never know. But I mean, it's always good to test the characters. Just because he's been married before, he faced those challenges. We don't know what he's going to face in this marriage, right? But I think they love each other, and she seems to ground him to just make him rooted. So let's just hope so that things will work out this time.
We've survived the worst. We've survived baby mama drama that ended up not to be Sechaba's baby. I think there's nothing bigger than that we're still gonna face, but you'll never know. But I think, having faced that, we're stronger. And they've proven that their love is real and their love keeps them together.
This highlight in the couple's love story comes at the time we are nearing the end of a fantastic 22 years on air for Isidingo. And the upcoming white wedding means that we have plenty of time to celebrate our beloved residents of Horizon Deep.
Sechaba. When was it you attend a wedding like that?
It's been so long. It's been so long. I am craving and yearning for a traditional wedding.
I want to be a flower girl. I've been to a wedding once in my life.
I know flower girls and traditional weddings, Kuhle.
But it's fine.
Go high, they call these stray maize.
Not
flower
wedding.
girls, eh?
I went to my brother's wedding, actually.
When?
That was 2 years ago or something like that.
Oh.
It's been a while.
I feel like one of you guys should take one for the team and then just invite me, because I've never been to one.
Right.
So, okay,
Cool.
Kat? Yeah,
Cool.
you see, this
I'll
one's getting
arrange,
a bit
I'll
easy.
arrange
You
one
have-
just for you.
Yes.
Or you can just catch it on Isidingo, like right there. You know what I mean?
Catch it on Isidingo. What a beautiful wedding. It's been such a dramatic relationship, and to see it come to this is just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Pindi Sechaba.
Hey, Tama Pantula.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It's a Monday morning, and this is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Thanks for starting with us the brand new day that is our first episode, of course, of 2020. Now, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics are undoubtedly the biggest event of the sporting calendar this year. But with the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup hosted by South Africa and later on the T20 Cricket World Cup in Australia, sport fans are spoiled for choice. And of course, we've been gearing up for all that and of course, the all-important clash between Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer that'll be taking place right here in the mother city. It's simply something that cannot be missed, and especially if your name is Garen Lambley and you're a sports editor and you're lucky enough to have received a special pass to the game. That's going to be something really, really special. But yeah, so much to look forward to this year.
It's going to be a fantastic year. Obviously, no rugby and cricket World Cup, but the Olympics is always something special. And as you mentioned, when last did we see Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the country?
Besides, the Rugby World Cup is still fresh in our memories, and we're still holding the trophy aloft. But this is quite a significant thing in that 20-time Grand Slam winner Roger Federer will be playing his first match in sub-Saharan Africa.
Correct, yeah.
In his career. That's amazing.
You know, obviously for his foundation, which he does fantastic things in South Africa and the rest of Africa, and he's bringing along his friend Rafa Nadal with 19 Grand Slams. So the two of them, the two greatest tennis players, if you go according to Grand Slams. Yeah. They're heading to South Africa in early Feb, straight after the Australian Open. It should be fantastic. Obviously being played at the Cape Town Stadium, built for the 2010 Soccer World Cup, been transformed into a tennis stadium. I think everyone's can't wait to see what that's going to look like and how far the seats are actually going to be from the court. But you know, regardless of that, sold out, should be a fantastic occasion. It's going to set a world record for the most fans at an exhibition match. So that's another first for South Africa. Really looking forward to the match.
That's really, really special. That's taking place on February the 7th, 2020 at 8 p.m. in the evening. So a night game as well. Ah, beautiful.
Under floodlights, yeah.
Cape Town Stadium, the Atlantic seaboard there on the side, just providing for a beautiful, beautiful venue. So looking forward to that. Please take some pictures for us. And are you going to get a meet and greet?
I hope so. I hope so. I'll certainly send you pictures.
That's amazing. All right. Then also the Under-19 Cricket World Cup hosted in South Africa. Another opportunity to see rising stars in the cricketing ranks and to see exactly where we pace ourselves with the Under-19 circuit.
Sure. The future of world cricket on display in South Africa later in the year. You know, South Africa, unfortunately, the Under-19s have struggled of late. They seem to have played a lot of matches against India for some reason. And Indian youth is obviously very, very strong at the moment. So, you know, they'll be certainly one of the favourites heading into that tournament. But a number of players from South Africa to keep your eye on for the future. You know, it's obviously the dream for this squad is to reach the highest level, represent the country for the Proteas. There's some names there that you certainly have performed well at schoolboy level and Under-19, and that will certainly come through in the years ahead.
Yeah, much excitement there for the lads. Good luck to them. That tournament starts off on the 17th of January and goes through until the 9th of February. Then the 2020 ICC Men's T20 World Cup. And one might hope that, you know, with this test match series that we're playing against England, and of course the ensuing other formats of the game, and then the tour with Australia, that we'll be building up some much-needed confidence so we can finally take some silverware.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. You know, we obviously don't want to talk too much about the 50-over Cricket World Cup from last year, but the T20 does present another opportunity for the Proteas to lift some silverware. The 2020 format does allow, I think, some other countries to stand a decent chance of winning. Teams like the West Indies, who just have fallen off the boil slightly at test level and even at 50 over. But in the 2020 arena, they've got some key players that could certainly make them a contender. You've got New Zealand, obviously been played in Australia, that already makes them among the favourites. India will always be strong, and then Pakistan, even Sri Lanka, teams like that. You know, you just need a couple of match winners at T20 level, and you know, and if the cards fall for you, you can certainly walk away with the trophy. But it hopefully bodes well for South Africa. I think it might be Faf du Plessis' last tournament in charge at the helm. You know, he's talked about retiring after the T20 World Cup, so it's a big year for him. But we've got a long way to go before now and then, as you say, this test series against England, plus some ODIs and T20s, and then Australia come, and then there's the IPL. So a long way to go, but really looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, and hopefully the Mzansi Super League has also helped us unearth some talent that could be very useful to us in that format of the game. Are we hoping to see AB back?
It would be nice if he could. Maybe Mark Boucher, as the coach, can twist his arm and he can make a one-off appearance again for the Proteas.
Just one more flurry there for the boys. And of course, the biggest talking point in terms of sports in 2020 must be the Tokyo Olympics. Always something to look forward to when the Olympic Games are around, and this time around in Japan.
Yeah, can't wait for it. You know, as you say, it comes around every 4 years. It's a very special event. South African team, if you look at it, about 6 or 7 months to go. Yeah. Obviously, fingers crossed that Wade van Niekerk gets over his knee injury. And can we believe that it's been 3.5 years since he broke that world record in Rio? Time has really flown. Hopefully, he's back and fit and can take his place in the starting lineup. There are question marks obviously over Caster Semenya and whether she'll be competing or not. A couple of other South Africans we'll look to them for medals, especially in the long jump and athletics. We've got a couple of there that really performed well. Chad Leclerc obviously as well. Cameron van der Berg has retired, so he's no longer a medal contender for us. So it's going to be fantastic. Really can't wait. The Blitzbox, they'll be looking to go better than their bronze medal in Rio 3 years ago. So, really can't wait. Obviously, question marks over the weather in Japan, how cold or how hot, rather, it's going to be, typhoons. We saw that impacting the Rugby World Cup. Yeah. This is a little bit earlier in the year, so hopefully it's not in typhoon season, but you never really know.
The exclusion of Russia, that must be a big talking point in the sporting world.
It certainly is. They're a powerhouse at Olympic level across all sports. So for them not to be there opens the door for a number of other competitors and countries to pick up medals that perhaps they wouldn't have ordinarily, but they're still contesting that ban. Who knows how that's going to pan out? They might be able to send some athletes that sort of compete individually rather than representing Russia. So there might be some representation still.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Lots to look forward to, as you've heard. So the Olympic Games, Friday the 24th of July until Sunday the 9th of August in Tokyo, Japan. And of course, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup on the 18th of October until the 15th of November 2020. Lots to look forward to. Gary Lambley, thank you very, very much for joining us, and have a very fantastic and successful 2020 in your line of work, sir.
Thank you.
To take a look at those news headlines once more. Traffic volumes were hectic on all major roads in South Africa yesterday as thousands of holiday makers started returning to their homes after the festive season, and motorists were urged to be patient as traffic was expected to remain heavy today. The Department of Social Development has opened its Gender-Based Violence Command Center to matriculants who may be anxious about their examination results. It also encourages those who failed a matric to take advantage of the Basic Education Department's Second Chance Matric Support Program. In international headlines, Al-Shabaab militants yesterday launched a pre-dawn attack on a shared US and Kenyan military airstrip, which is located on Kenya's coast near the border with Somalia. Officials said, adding that the assault was repulsed and 5 militants were killed on the 28th of December. Some 80 people were killed in a bombing in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu. Thousands of mourners swept into the Iranian city of Avaz early yesterday morning to receive the remains of Qasem Soleimani, the general killed in a US drone strike in Baghdad last week. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei was warned, or rather has warned, of severe revenge. And finally, Japan's Kane Tanaka has extended her record as the world's oldest person by celebrating her 117th birthday at a nursing home in Fukuoka. She marked her birthday with a party celebrated yesterday along with staff and friends at the nursing home. Guinness World Records last year confirmed Tanaka as the oldest living person. Tanaka's record age is symbolic of Japan's fast-aging population, which, coupled with its failing birth rate, is raising concerns for future economic growth. Believed to be the oldest man alive is Freddie Blom from Delft on the Cape Flats, who celebrated his 115th birthday on the 8th of May last year. At his birthday party, Freddie quipped that if wisdom comes with age, he could be the wisest person on the planet or in the world. And that's where we leave it for now. Here's Kat with a look at your sports headlines.
In cricketing news this morning, England extended their lead over South Africa on day 3 of the second test at Newlands Cricket Ground yesterday. Dom Sibley starred on the day, reaching 85 not out, helping the visitors to a 264-run lead over the Proteas. In rugby news, the Cheetahs and Southern Kings both suffered disappointing losses in the Pro 14 on Saturday, with the Cheetahs going down 41-13 to Zebra in Palmer and the Kings losing 61-13 to Edinburgh in Scotland. Meanwhile, PSL action continued with log leaders Kaizer Chiefs suffering a 2-1 loss to SuperSport United. And in other results, these saw defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns thrash AmaZulu 3-0 and Orlando Pirates were held to a 1-1 draw against Bloemfontein Celtic. And finally, FA Cup football returned this weekend with title holders Manchester City claiming a 4-1 victory over Port Vale. Liverpool, meanwhile, snatched a 1-0 win over Everton, and Manchester United were held to a goalless draw against Wolves. And that's a roundup of the sporting headlines right now. Here's a look at your roads.
Thank you so much, Kat. It's just after 7:30. Let's take a look at the roads. Now in Gauteng, Edenvale, there has been a fatal crash on Mabopane Highway after Roslyn Road. The road is closed and traffic is diverted from Roslyn Road, so please avoid the area as heavy congestion is expected. As well as in Gauteng Midrand on the N1 southbound, there's been a multi-vehicle accident after Olifantsfontein Road, obstructing one lane, so please do approach with caution this morning. And then finally, on the Metrorail Cape Flats line, there's an extended travel time of 15 to 20 minutes on the Cape Flats line due to current infrastructure conditions and sets out of service. And that's where we leave your traffic for this morning. We'll be back in 30 minutes with a much more extensive look. Let's take a look at the weather with Claire.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It's time to have a more extensive look at the weather this morning. And we have asked you to send in your sunrise pictures. Vilma Liederman sent us this beautiful orange skyline from Fontaine, where partly to mainly cloudy conditions are expected, with a southwesterly wind reaching a maximum of 26 degrees. Thank you so much, Vilma. And Undumiso Smith sent us this amazing sunrise from Johannesburg, where a shower or thunderstorm is expected with cloudy conditions reaching a maximum of 29 degrees. Thank you so much for your sunrise pictures. We absolutely love them. You know I'm about to say, keep them going, keep them flowing on social media. Now to have a look at the rest of South Africa, starting off with the Polokwane, with a minimum of 18 degrees, reaching a maximum of 30 degrees. High humidity from Mbombela at 1831. Pretoria peaks at 32 degrees this morning and a low of 20 degrees. Thunderstorms are expected for Johannesburg at a minimum of 17 degrees, reaching a maximum of 29 degrees. Mahikeng peaks at 34 degrees with a low of 19. A couple of showers for Klerksdorp at 19:33. Kimberley 20:35, and heavy rainfall for Bloemfontein with a minimum of 17, reaching a high of 33 degrees. Richards Bay 23:32. Occasional rain for Pietermaritzburg with a maximum of 30 degrees. Make sure to bring out those umbrellas. A high of 28 degrees and a low of 24 in South Africa's Playground, Durban. Thunderstorms expected for Mthatha with a low of 18 degrees, reaching a high of 25 degrees. And in East London, the high is at 25 and a low at 20 degrees. Southeasterly wind of 13 kilometers an hour in Kredok with a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 34 degrees. The Friendly City, Port Elizabeth 2024. Heavy rainfall at George with temperatures ranging from 17 degrees, reaching a maximum of 21. And Sutherland at 25 at its peak and a low of 14 degrees. Southeasterly wind of 18 kilometers an hour in Cape Town with a minimum of 17 and a maximum of 22 degrees. The lowest temperature in the country is at Worcester at 15, reaching a high of 29. Make sure to bring those jackets out. And then Springbok is 16, not too far from Worcester, with a maximum of 30 degrees. And the highest temperature in the country, of course, is Uppington at a peak of 37 degrees with a low of 23. Wherever you are, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good morning.
All right, we have special guest with us here this morning, Dr. Thobile Sifunda, author of a very, very intriguing book that we're going to be talking about a little bit later on. But great to have you on the show in 2020.
Thank you so much, Katlego.
And certainly looking forward to chatting.
It is my pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
It's my first on national television.
Oh, yes.
So I'm
and what
excited.
a way to break it.
Really very excited.
Dr. Thobile,
much.
well, you know what? We always treat our guests to some really quality coffee over here. McCafe, 100% Arabica beans. You need not ask any further questions.
Okay.
What would you like?
I'm trying to be very health conscious going into 2020.
Yes.
So I only do decaf cappuccino. So decaf cappuccino it will be.
Princess,
Thank you. Thank you so
Right
much.
on the button, on the money. And by the way, we're also asking everyone at home to tell us about their holiday highlights. Do you have any memorable moments from the festive season?
Yes. Well, my son, I've got 2 sons.
Yes. Yeah.
The one called Kwezi just left me.
To do
He's
what?
a music producer.
Okay.
He's settling abroad.
Wow.
He's in LA.
Oh,
So that is what happened to me this festive season.
And then he went from Kwezi to the one called Kwezi. But hopefully you'll make a massive success and then mom can go and
Yes, and shout out to my Kwezi in LA. I love him. We miss him very, very much.
This is fantastic. Well, Dr. Tobile Sifunda is in the house, of course, to talk to us about her brand new book, I Refuse to Be Called Black. You want to miss nothing of it, coming up after the break.
Only the highest grade Arabica beans. McAfee, great coffee, simple. See you after the break.
A zero-fee account with 0 surprises. That's different.
Money.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live on SABC3. You've made the right choice. You've chosen to wake up on the right side of bed by choosing to wake up on the feel-good side of bed. Now, 2019 was a remarkable year for South African excellence. I mean, most notably becoming the current title holders of World Rugby. We know that. And, of course, Miss Universe as well. And we, with all of that, are still a nation grappling with its sense of identity. And as we move forward from our troubled past, we've got people like KZN-based psychologist Dr. Tobile Sifunda's first book coming out. It's titled, I Refuse to Be Called Black, Unapologetically African. It will have all South Africans confronting and redefining their identity. So a huge, warm Expresso welcome, of course, to Dr. Tobile Sifunda. Good morning, Dr. Sifunda.
Good morning.
Again.
Yes, good morning again. And thank you so much for having me. I said to Tabi, so it's my first on national TV.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
Well, you have the face for TV, so you already have got
my
that
goodness.
tick. You look
Am I
amazing.
employed already?
You are. You're securing the bag for
lovely,
2020.
lovely. Thank you so
But
much.
Take us through the book, because it's quite, you know, it could be quite contradictory. I don't know, people could be like coming for you. Take us through it. When you said you're going to write this book, what were you aiming for? What were you hoping for?
Okay, I know that some people have said provocative. I say informative.
Yeah.
It's been a journey for me. You know, the black identity is basically a construction. You know, it was constructed, engineered for a purpose. And of course, you don't want to wear an identity that has all these negative connotations, because that's how it was made up to be. Now, for some years, we've carried it, you know, and I think it's time we dumped it and said, let's go and find who we are, embrace it, and actually say, it's actually good to be African, you know? And I think we've just come out of a beautiful moment where Uzozbini became Miss Universe.
Yes.
You know, with that authentic African look. And she was saying, look, I'm not going to change the way I look like, because I don't want to please anyone. This is who I am, and this is how I present myself to the world. And I think that actually adds value to that African identity, the value that was taken away from that identity. So seeing her, and also seeing about Sean Majosi, you know, I think, you know, a lot of them are coming up to say, listen, enough is enough. You know, they may not have said it straight to say they're refusing to be called black, but in a way, I think they are finding, you know, their true identity as they go along.
So they're owning their identity, and as a result, we're also sort of starting to take a step in the right direction. But Dr. Sifunda, you know, your book dissects topics that are in the public as well as political domain, and this is all through your own lens. Why have you decided that this should be the stance for your first book?
Look, I think, Tabiso, I'm South African, and of course I'm labeled black. And there's many people out there, you know, including yourselves, of course, you know, that would say to me, look, because when I did my PhD, I was actually collecting data in schools with very young people, you know, that had just come out of, you know, primary into secondary school. And of course, the stories they were sharing with me really made me concerned, very, very concerned, because, you know, you find that they still are learning history that is very Eurocentric. The curriculum is very Eurocentric. And of course, if you're depriving them of knowing their African history, the contribution, you know, people of African descent have made to world civilization, then of course you are really doing a disservice to them. And you also have young people saying they believe that people that are considered beautiful are people not necessarily of their color. I mean, you know, the yellow bone, you know, that whole idea that somebody that's light-skinned, lighter, fairer, long hair, straight hair, is more beautiful than somebody that is darker and has coarse hair like I do. So, you know, those are the things that they were sharing with me, and I felt, you know, if young people at secondary school and those going into tertiary education are still going through what we went through, I think it's time that we step up and say, listen, it is not happening. So can we, you know, go back, talk about it frankly, and also not just talk about the negativity, and also talk about what we would love to aspire and see happen in terms of identity development. Because for me, it is important for us to transcend the black and white, you know, binary, because it keeps us apart. And for us to then go to our center, Yobuntu, and become that, because being African actually means you are Umuntu. That's who we are. So what happens is we don't even want to go to the pre-colonial years. We just want to, you know, look at our history as defined by other people, defined by apartheid, and defined by the colonial era. We want to go pre-colonial and say, who were we before colonization?
This is fantastic. I really love this, and we could spend all morning going through all of this. I think it is a jam-packed book and so much to take out of it for everyone. I think everyone has an opportunity when reading this book to take something out of it. But of course, if you want to get a copy of Dr. Tobile Sifunda's book, you can also retrieve this by sending her an email, tobile.sifunda000@gmail.com. So tobile.sifunda000@gmail.com to place your order. And of course, there you can also get more information about all the retailers and the outlets you can get this book. It is fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Tabile.
Thank you so much.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only mean one thing.
Inspiring conversations there with Dr. Sifunda, and equally delicious conversations here in the kitchen as we welcome you to our very first New Year edition of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing! Yes, baby. We're kicking off 2020 with the ABC. And no, we're not going to be teaching you the alphabet all over again, but we are going to be surprising and delighting you with our mixed bag of ingredients and some fantastic recipes to boot. Starting with A for aardappels, B for beetroot, and C for cabbage. Yeah, because January is a real thing. Now, back in our kitchen and bubbly as ever, the fabulous Jenny Morris and Anel Potgieter will be sharing some economical ideas to get you through this very, very long month. Ladies, welcome back and happy 2020.
20 plenty. Happy to you, my baby.
Get in
I
there.
plenty, plenty. Yes,
20 plenty.
Yes.
It's a thing now, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And
health.
Yes, wealth.
Please,
abundance,
God.
Veggies.
Abundance.
And clearly there's plenty of veggies going around with a new trend, believe it or not, something called hashtag, gotta just think of, Veganuary. It's called Veganuary.
It's like vegan annuary.
Yes, vegan Veganuary.
Yeah.
And what is that exactly, Anal?
Yeah, so that is when you pledge that you're only going to eat vegan for January.
Yes. People are doing it
all over. Yeah.
Veganuary is a thing, guys,
Yeah.
so get your vegan on for the month of...
Even Meatloaf is doing it. You know Meatloaf, the singer?
Yes.
But he doesn't want to change his brand name to Vegan
He's
Loaf.
still Meatloaf.
It could be a lentil loaf. A lentil loaf.
Beyond loaf.
A nut loaf, nut roast.
But all right. Let's get started. Tell me a little bit about the most memorable potato dish that you ate this holiday. Because A is for aardappels, right?
Yeah, A is for aardappels.
We had a potato bake for Christmas. That was amazing.
Did you? How
it was a vegan one, actually. Lots of broccoli, onion,
cream,
garlic in there. Okay, so it wasn't completely vegan. So it was vegetarian.
But that was December, not January.
There we go.
So you're excused.
I had a delicious spud. A spud is such a simple thing to make and so easy.
Yeah.
It's just this baked potato, and I added some beautiful spinach, raw spinach, with some feta, sun-dried tomatoes, and just mixed it through. Yummy. Olive oil.
You know what I've been doing, doll?
Do tell.
Is I've been just sticking potatoes into my machine.
Yes.
And
What
grating
machine?
it, just like a food processor.
Okay.
I don't want to do this.
The whole time.
The whole time. Because I've made lots. And I've been making big fat latkes, as you can see. And then just lots of sour cream. For lunch, it's just been David and I.
Latka? What is a latka? Please explain
It's a
to
potato
everybody.
pancake.
Yes.
But it's just with pure potato. I put obviously in lots of salt and pepper and garlic and some herbs.
Anel, you need to visit your local deli a bit more often.
Yeah, I'm just trying to educate the
Is it-
viewers.
yeah, I know,
Because it's like
I'm
a
joking.
rosti. It's like a big rosti.
Yes, like a big rosti, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And just with lots of sour cream or yogurt.
Excellent.
Oh, yummy.
So with potatoes being so economical and, you get them in big bags and small bags, they're quite economical for this time of the year. What recipes can you share with us that we can make very easily, that are very filling, that can last?
I've got a beautiful one. So I just take these baby potatoes and I boil them just like this, and then you skin them, and then all I do is add a lot of avo, sliced avo, watercress, lemon juice, and olive oil, and mix it through with salt and pepper.
Yes.
It is divine.
Wow.
It's really delicious.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is good, but also with the baby potatoes, it's nice to just boil them and then you clap them. So they go splash, lots of olive oil, rock salt, in the oven, out the oven. I like to make a wasabi mayo. Wasabi mayo over the top, and a little bit of sweet chili sauce, chopped coriander, spring onions. Hello, I'm in heaven.
Because when you put it in the oven, it becomes like crispy.
Crispy, yes,
with
it
olive oil.
explodes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So what if you're watching the waistline as well? You're trying to be healthy as well as economical. So potatoes are still the base that we're working
They
on.
say the smaller the potato, the more you can eat. The bigger the potato.
There we
No, it's true. Don't laugh at me.
Sorry,
it's because
Jenny,
this
that
has
is right.
got less carb in it.
Doesn't make
apparently.
sense at all.
Okay. They say.
Let's see what you've got there now.
Yes, so this is nearly vegan if you leave the cheese out.
Yes.
It's definitely vegan. So this is my potato bake, but it's without the cream. So it's just thinly sliced potatoes. Jen, if you can pack that out for me.
Okay.
And then I just want to show this to the viewers. Everybody's got a grater.
And it has that side to it.
And nobody knows what to do with it.
I've never ever in my life used that, and now I see it, and I'm looking at these potatoes and thinking like they're cut like chips, like beautifully cut like chips. That's how you do it.
So you can do it with this, or my favorite kitchen tool is a mandolin slicer.
Okay.
This is like a fancy one. I've just got a simple one at home that I can hold in my hand, but it's very sharp and razor sharp, and it cuts it beautifully. So it takes this slip out of cutting potatoes. So all you do there is you pack it in layers with some fresh thyme, some salt and pepper.
Good
Ek gaan 'n bietjie
stuff.
sout en peper opgooi.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to put some stock. So instead of the cream, you
can
take
add-
veggie stock.
That enhances the flavor.
Yeah, and you pour that over.
By the way, you can
like
SMS
that.
the keyword EAT to 33728 for this recipe.
And then a little bit of butter.
Why so
knobs
little?
of butter. I know this is also not vegan, but if you all want to go vegan, you don't include the butter.
Coconut fat or something.
Yes, I won't do coconut because I don't think coconut and potatoes going to gel together or sing together in a pot.
Lime and the coconut.
And all you do is a bit of cheese. You do get vegan cheese. If you go to the shops now, you get loads of vegan cheese.
Got some whoops in the back there. Vegan cheese.
I think it's Chad that's getting so excited. Anyway, so you pop that in the oven for about 180 degrees for about an hour.
Good.
And there you are.
Done.
Would you like to taste?
I tell you what, I'll taste in our next little segment because we are going through the ABCs where A was for aardappel, B is for beetroot, and that's what we're coming back with a little bit later on with the culinary hotline bling.
Sing, sing, sing. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso Love at ABC 3. It's time for us to check in on what's been happening in the world of movies. The Golden Globes have hit. The fever has been absolutely everywhere as far as Hollywood is concerned, and that's what everyone is talking about right now. And here to let us in on all the winners, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, what happened over there is our resident movie critic, JP Sebastian. JP, Happy New Year.
Oh, to you too. Thank you very much. It feels like I haven't slept in a year since the Golden Globes were on. But
you've been up since the wee hours. I mean, you must have been up at 2 o'clock this morning.
Who
to
cares
bring us
about this guy? Let's talk about fancy faces.
I care
Let's
about
talk
you.
about...
I care about your hairstyle. I care about the fact that you've dressed up to come tell us about the Golden Globes. That means a lot to me and everyone at home.
Thank you. 2020 is finally arrived.
Supporting actor. Let's start there.
So supporting actor doesn't get its own category. The others you'll see are split into musical, comedy and drama, but supporting actor is across the board in genre. So some of the nominees for supporting actor included for his movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Tom Hanks.
Oh, yes.
The everyman, everyone loves Tom Hanks.
Oh,
don't they?
yes.
He's like, I mean, who doesn't want Tom Hanks as their dad? And so here he's playing one of the most wholesome human beings in history. And it's a biopic. Well, let's see how he does. However, he's got to face Sir Anthony Hopkins of the two popes.
Oh, yes.
Of course, you know that face from, well, Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs ordinarily. Yes. But what he's involved in here is grounding the Pope.
I've just recently been watching the two popes, and I think
super serious.
He delivered an exceptional performance there.
Let's see if he was your man of the evening. However, he had to face up against Al Pacino of The Irishman. This is a dream come true for any fan of this. Is Martin Scorsese's movie, and he finally teamed up Pacino with De Niro after them being apart for so long since Heat. Pacino, one of these great actors who says, you know, in old age doesn't mean you necessarily have to slow down. You might burn brightest in your twilight. And the dude puts his whole body on the line for this performance.
He arrives. Who else is there?
From The Irishman to probably my favorite of all of the actors of The Irishman. That's hard to say, but Joe Pesci, after like 2 decades off the scene, is like, well, you know what, I'll do a movie. I think he was just busy being a human being, because surprise, surprise, these celebs are. But Joe, who's usually a volatile, super violent guy in stuff like Goodfellas or Casino for Martin Scorsese, does something that's just below the surface. You're like, I mean, even that still image is pretty dangerous for me to stare at.
But you know what, JP, so far, the names of all these guys we're seeing here, some really iconic names and characters and people. Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And tell you what, let's just jump straight into it. The surprise
Who's the winner,
for Best Supporting Actor is Brad Pitt himself.
Oh, yeah! I love it.
The man's man, the macho man.
Yeah.
So there's so many comebacks this year. Obviously, Brad Pitt most recently at Fury, but Tarantino's back, and he did really well Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Brad Pitt, I think, carried the show there, even though there was Leo as well. Let's move on, however.
Okay, so then you've got Supporting Actress.
Supporting Actress.
Who are the nominees?
And so for Supporting Actress, it's Richard Jewell is a biopic. This is another return by a famous director, Clint Eastwood, but he's got Kathy Bates as a Supporting Actress here, putting on the Trana, just the waterworks. I haven't seen the movie. Maybe it does the job. But one of my favorite actresses of all time is the next lady, Annette Bening.
Oh, yes. I love Annette Bening.
Such class. Look at her.
I love her. The Report.
Diane Feinstein. Apparently, this is such a damning and tense movie. Like, if you can make a movie about paperwork feel dangerous, then you're doing good. And obviously, Annette Bening, who's been in stuff like The Siege, doesn't have a problem.
She'll do a great job bringing it to life.
Laura Dern, however, is also one of the greatest of all time. I was watching Jurassic Park the other day. My goodness, the force that young person back then brought to the screen. And here, she plays a divorce attorney, and it's not even a caricature. She could have easily just been like, ooh, I'm the devil, and, you know, I'm separating the couple or whatever. But again, walks such a good fine line. Jennifer Lopez.
Wow, well, listen, Jennifer Lopez in Hustlers.
Yes.
I got to see it over the festive season.
Tommy, thoughts? One sentence.
I love it.
Excellent.
I love it. So performance-driven. It's hot. You're sweating with them as they sweat with every swirl around that pole. I love it.
I don't have that kind of money.
Okay.
Margot Robbie for Bombshell is the final nominee for Best Supporting Actress. Another lady who, man, I love her commitment. Obviously, she's in Birds of Prey coming out soon. She was in I, Tonya, but it has to go to Laura Dern. You really can't go wrong making a choice like that. The winner. Hey, by the way, I'm naming the winner. Laura Dern, Marriage Story. Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah.
Supporting actress, excellent. But let's move into the big fish.
Best director.
I'm sorry, I'm flying through these. It's just I've had like 8 cups of coffee.
Best director. There's
and
been
Bong Joon-ho for me. Is the best living. You must have heard me raving about Parasite non-stop. I've been begging everyone to see it. Bong Joon-ho has coined for himself from some of the greatest critics in the world, movie critics, obviously not myself included, the term.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Bong genre. He is his own class of director, and every director is just heaping praise on the guy. However, you got Sam Mendes is the second nominee. 1917. This is coming out in South Africa on the 20th of January.
So we haven't seen it yet.
I have, and it's incredible. But oh, sorry, I shouted there. Sound guy, I'm sorry. Sam Mendes really pulls off a gargantuan feat here, building a World War I set without cuts in the camera work. Todd Phillips, however, is our next nominee.
Joker.
This was obviously such a controversial concept. For me, I think that the guy who pulled most of the weight behind Joker was Joaquin Phoenix. Todd Phillips isn't incompetent, of course. course. But the man carrying the largest cross there and the most serious man of the bunch was Joaquin Phoenix. Todd Phillips, however, nominated for Best Director. Then Martin Scorsese, one of the heavyweights, one of the gods, The Irishman, has to be nominated, of course. So glad to see actors like Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Martin Scorsese directing, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel. It's a dream cast. Who cares if they win or not?
But all of these are such huge names to go up against for any one of these directors. Quentin Tarantino.
Why did we sing that? We'll never know. Once upon a time in Hollywood, the madman is back. Tarantino, it really, like all the energy of his movies, it seems like it's bursting at the seams out of the dude. I don't think he gets to say half the things he wants to, and he probably talks 5 times faster than the guy you're looking at right now. However, Quentin Tarantino, well, obviously Brad Pitt already took Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah. Who won? Who won?
Let me tell you who won. I'm super surprised. Really wanted Bong Joon-ho to win, of course, for Parasite, but it had to go to Sam Mendes.
Wow.
Because the technical feat, and you're going to see for yourself, South Africa when? 1917.
Wow, for 1917, when it does come out on the 20th?
The 20th in January.
20th of Jan this year. Well, JP Sebastian's going absolutely nowhere. It is a Monday. Golden Globes fever everywhere. The best of international films and television, of course, they were celebrated, and he got to stay up at 2 o'clock to bring us all of this. So stick around for a little bit more of that. Right now, what's happening on the performance stage? Good day.
Hey man, listen, from celebrating global incredible movies to celebrating global incredible music artists. We are joined by Yannick Songa from the mother city straight to Amsterdam, opening up for artists such as Erykah Badu. He gave us an incredible opening performance with a song titled Conversations. Right now though, he's joined by Mtunza, and they're about to give us their second offering for the morning with a song titled Energy. Give them a warm Expresso welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Yeah. On the track, You guys ready? Okay, let's do this then. Yeah. Energy. Yeah. I told you to listen, I knew that we're tripping. All of my, but not on that mission. Used to do chicks, but now we do women. If this is just music, then why do they lose it? I mean, since I did this, build up in the groupies. Don't mean where I fall for the trap, but they'll do me. I'm the bad guy that they killed in the movie. Acting a fool, sometimes acting foolish. Don't wanna do this, but lost in the music. They dreaming a new whip and tapping a new chick. Don't have that cool shit attracting the cheese, but they still be on me like I'm dressed in Gucci. I got that red cap and blue jeans. If this was a movie, they call this a man scene. I thought that she had me, but she's a drag queen. I lost to a has-been, and then we chase green. I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my niggas I move, bouncing up a weak groove while we're trying to improve. Now I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my niggas I move, bouncing up a weak groove while we're trying to improve. Now yo mommy, yo know me. I don't know why she be follow me. She don't need you, she depend on me. In the bedroom I bring energy. Yo mommy, yo know me. I don't know why she be follow me. She don't need you, she depend on me. In the bedroom I bring energy. Yo mommy, yo know me. I don't know why she be follow me. She don't need you, she depend on me. In the bedroom I bring energy. Yo mommy, yo know me. I don't know why she be follow me. She don't need you, she depend on me. In the bedroom I bring energy.
Bunga ngithande mina kwashona ilanga usufuna mina ingoba nginamali ngiyabhadanisa zami zaka angihole mina night shift yakelele belilanga mafiki zolo ntwana ithwele lotho mind my own business khomete xoxo pussy joko umani phuma again blood sucks to my energy we ain't friends we ain't family but we never gonna be enemies that's how they suck out the energy Hennessy I feel like too party than jealousy.
I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my niggas I move, bouncing up a weak groove while we trying to improve. Now I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my niggas I move, bouncing up a weak groove while we trying to improve. Now yo mommy, you know me. I don't know why she be follow me. She don't need you, she depend on me. In the bedroom I bring energy. Yo mommy, you love me. I don't know why she be follow me. She only you, she depend on me. In the bedroom, I bring energy. Yo mommy, you love me. I don't know why she be follow me. She only you, she depend on me. In the bedroom, I bring energy. Yo mommy, you love me. I don't know why she be follow me. She only you, she depend on me. In the bedroom, I bring energy. I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my brothers, I move. Bouncing up a we groove while we're trying to improve. I understand that I'm cool, but I just do what I do. And with my jita, I move. Bouncing up a we groove while we're trying to improve.
Yes, absolutely. Love it. That was Yannick featuring Tunzai with Energy. That's exactly how we kickstart our week. That's exactly how we kickstart 2020. Keep it locked because later on he's yet to perform. Right now, though, let's take a quick breather. Keep it locked on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Apply for your American Express Gold or Platinum card and get 20% off your food bill or a complimentary appetizer or a free bottle of wine every time you use your card at participating taste restaurants around the country. Apply now at americanexpress.co.za.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well, when you hear that, you know what it means. It means it's time for us to take a look at the world of relationships. Welcome back to it. You're still hanging out with your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. It is a brand new year, but the new year brings new energy and a sense of intentional purpose into everyone. And it often serves as a driving force to make some big changes in our relationships. Setting personal resolutions is a great way to set yourself up and, sort of steer yourself in the right direction. But setting resolutions as a couple, all right, can also be quite valuable. So this morning we're asking, what are the advantages of setting resolutions as a couple in a relationship? And we're joined by celebrity psychologist and CEO of Hidden Dimensions, Charissa Bloomberg, to help us discuss and unpack this really hot topic. And we'd love to hear from you, your questions, your comments. Get them through to us on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. Drop a comment on this post and we will engage with you live. Good morning, Charissa.
Good morning. First of all, you are looking absolutely beautiful, may I say.
A little bit over the top, but I just felt like
I love it. No, over the top always works. Always works. You look stunning. Your outfit goes with my shoes. We're a bit
match
together. Couples resolutions this year, that's all we're doing, and going over the top or nothing.
I love that. Now, when we're talking about resolutions, we look at it at more, individual based. The way that you want the year to pan out for yourself, your personal goals and what you want to achieve. Do you think it is one-sided, or should you include a partner in your resolutions?
We definitely need to include the partner. But here's the thing, it starts with our individual goals. So that's what we want for ourselves in the future, and that helps us plan. But everything that we do is going to impact on our partner. So say we want to go and study further, that's going to impact on the income. So there is our personal goals, but then there's the goals that we have to tell our partner. But then there's the goals that we have as a couple. So what do we want to work on? Our finances, our time together, more memories, have another child, plan building a home together, a holiday. So they're both, quickly, they're both. They're individual, plus as a couple. But the couple is crucial.
Crucial. I suppose when you are in a relationship, you've got this person who plays such an important and such a big role in your life. Whatever decisions you make and resolutions you make for yourself do impact on them. So what would you say are the benefits then of setting and carrying out couple resolutions?
Yes. So here's the thing. It brings you together. It brings you closer. You have a better understanding of each other when you do that. You create fun. And it's actually known. Research says the couples that actually do the resolutions and their goals have a stronger bond.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it is just absolutely so important to do that. Otherwise, it's for communication. You can get lost. So he wants to go off and do something and you don't know why. So it's the building blocks, you could say that.
I absolutely love it, and also it helps aid the communication between you and your partner from the onset of the year, which is very important. Now, there are perks, and I know that there are also, some cons when it comes to such a thing. What would be the downside to setting resolutions in a relationship?
There's very little downside. There's a lot of pluses. But if your partner comes along and says, well, one of my New Year's resolutions is to get a divorce, is to break up, there's a danger. I doubt that you would see it coming.
That would be a bit extreme.
That would be a bit extreme. Or if they do something against your values. I love animals, and suddenly my husband decides, I'm going on a hunting trip. Okay, it's a deal breaker. So just be aware of that. But it's mostly pluses.
I think what we are picking up from this conversation is that setting couples resolutions and working through this process together is really all about getting that alignment in that relationship, that we are pulling in the same direction, that we are aligned and we're seeing things maybe not the same, but we are aware of what the other person's doing and what they're planning to do with their life.
Yes, and deciding which areas, do we want to work on our intimacy? Do we want to work on our finances? What areas do we want to work on? And what areas do we want to make better? And what are we carrying over from last year, the goals we didn't do? Some of those goals failed, but that's okay. So let's just look, what do we as a couple want to improve on?
I absolutely love this conversation. I could definitely take on some notes should I get myself into a relationship. Right now, though, it's time for Culinary Hotline Bling. We're going to carry on with part 2 of our conversations.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only mean one thing.
You're back again in the kitchen with the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing. Kuhle Adams. Anyway, we're teaching you all about the ABCs of vegetables. A was for aartappel and B is for beetroot, a very popular superfood with a range of health benefits. And it's also very cheap and available all year round. And you can cook it, you can bake it, you can boil it, you can roast it, do whatever you want with it. Anil and Jenny are here to show us some more convenient ways in which we can use this very economical vegetable. We did potatoes earlier on, which is absolutely brilliant. And before we get into your favorite dishes, we had a question that came through on social media. Charlie Kamunjoma, hello Charlie, saying the first time I ate beetroot, I panicked when I visited. No, wait. You gotta listen to the question.
I know what it is.
You know where it's going?
Okay, yes.
Okay, I panicked when I visited the loo afterwards. Why is it so? Can anybody offer a biological reason? It's the color. You're not dying.
It's a natural dye.
Can you imagine? Also, you shouldn't stay that long.
Yeah, it just colours your urine, so...
Okay, right.
Everything.
Let's get into your very favorite...
Let's taste the potato dish. I'm sorry.
Oh, of course, yes, you did make this earlier on, and I did promise that I'd taste it. So here we go.
It's easier with a fork.
It is, isn't it? Okay.
There you go, sweetheart.
There we go.
And
So
that
you
is
get some of this.
without the cream, guys. Jenny, aren't you going to taste? You wanted to.
I do. I've been wanting to dig it. I'm taking the top because I'm not vegan.
Do you taste it? It is just divine.
Oh,
with
just
the
a
onion.
stump.
And the onion
yes.
makes makes it sweet and all yummy. And I can just smell the wafting of the potato-ness.
Oh, good. The potato-ness. If you'd like the potato-ness on your plate, SMS the keyword EAT to 33728. All right, on to the beetroot, ladies. Let's talk about some of your favorite beetroot dishes and why. Who's going to start?
Jen, she's got a lovely one.
You know what I love is I like making a terrine, but I like marry two worlds. So I take borscht, which is like a soup, and I do it with some yogurt. And then I make the carpaccio like that, and I layer it so it almost looks like an ice cream in a loaf tin, and you set it with gelatine. So all the flavors, and when you cut it, you get this beautiful rainbow.
Look at that. Is that what it looks like?
It's exquisite.
Something like that.
Oh my goodness, it's almost like that. Oh my goodness.
Jenny, you make the most beautiful dishes.
That is layered with a bit of goat cheese, isn't it? You layer it with a bit of goat cheese.
Or feta, whatever you decide.
Looks like a dessert.
I know. It's pinkish and it's just, yummy.
Okay.
But it's a lot of work, eh? Yeah.
It does look like a lot of work.
It looks like a lot of work.
No, it's what Anel said. If you haven't got a slicer, just use that thing on the slicer on the side of your grater, and you just go like that.
Yeah.
With your machine, and then you just layer. But the work comes in when you've got a set pack. Set pack.
Okay. All right. Good. Anel, what about you?
I'm easy. So I just cook my beetroot like my mom did. She just slice it with raw onion, a bit of vinegar. Dis my gunsteling. And if you want, you can add a bit of feta cheese or a bit of goat cheese because they marry very well together. Very simple.
Okay.
Very simple.
Sounds simple enough. Let's talk about some beetroot flavor combinations. What goes best when you're having beetroot?
Everything.
Yeah?
It's so easy and it's so earthy. It loves fresh herbs. It loves coriander. It loves basil. It loves rocket and beetroot are a match made in heaven.
Wow.
And it loves things like pomegranate molasses and honey mixed together as a drizzle and a dressing. It's delicious.
You're always so exotic.
We do that at the restaurant. It's easy peasy. The other thing it absolutely adores is honey. I make a thing with honey and orange and thyme dressing with mustard, lovely hot mustard, and it loves to be with that, and it loves nuts.
And I always, when I make a mustard dressing, I like to use the whole corn mustard, like that korokke mustard.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my lekker. It
adds texture, adds flavour, more pungent
and then
mustardy
if you go
flavour
to
there.
cheeses, beetroot love cheese, and I love it with blue cheese.
Oh gosh.
Blue cheese, and we're using goat cheese today, or feta cheese.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cheddar cheese with it, I must say.
I agree.
But like all the whiter cheeses.
Parmesan works a little bit.
Yeah, Parmesan.
But because it's got that lovely salty sort of crystals in it. But you took me back to my childhood with the vinegar and the salt, and my mother always had a bowl of beetroot salad. In the fridge every day.
As a child, I never really got the use of beetroot because you'd have this beautiful Sunday lunch plated, and then you just take one swipe at that beetroot and it colours the entire plate. Now your rice is purple as well.
I love that. We used to take the vinegar onto the rice.
You see, you eat with your eyes. People say you don't eat with your eyes, but you eat with your eyes.
All right, but you've got a very interesting dish that you prepared there for us. What is it?
It's a beetroot carpaccio. It's a very fancy name for beautifully sliced beetroot. So these are just boiled and
because
sliced.
It looks like carpaccio.
It does. It looks like actually meat.
It's for January. What's that?
For January.
For January.
Yeah. So these are just beautiful slices of beetroot that's cooked, and you just pack them.
Look at that.
And don't be shy if your hands get red, guys. Actually, you just wash it off.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to pack this over it.
And while you do that, let me just tell you at home that you can SMS the keyword dish to 33728
I can smell it. Smell the earthy. Just smell the earthiness. I want you to smell the earthiness of beetroot.
Yeah. It smells like it's whole. It's from the earth.
It is.
It just reeks of health.
Yeah.
And you know what, a tip here, when you're boiling it, do not cut off the root and do not cut off the top. It's going to bleed and become anemic. All the colour leaches out.
So
don't.
If you're telling me it all leaches out, now my corp says, so if you boil it like that and you take it out, then it won't colour my plate.
No, because
it's a lot of red.
No. It'll be see-through. It'll be that horrible browny colour.
Okay.
How do you make your glaze?
So this is a balsamic glaze. I'm just going to add a bit of that. And it's very easy to make. So you just take balsamic vinegar. They call it balsamic reduction. And you just put a cup in the pot with a little bit of brown sugar if you want to. And you reduce it slowly to about a half a cup. And that is it.
There you go, people. Don't buy it, make it.
Yeah, you make it.
Then you're going to go on with layers of rocket.
here, a bit of
red
raw onion, for
red onion and
crispy,
beetroot, yum.
I've got a bit of dill here, dill. Fresh dill there, and I'm going to put a bit of nuts over here.
Any nut works very well with it. Hey,
Any walnuts.
Almonds, yeah. Smash them up in a pestle
Now,
and
so I'm
water.
going to break this beautiful goat's cheese into chunks.
Make it big.
Yeah, big chunks.
For big girls like us.
Yeah, we love
I tell you what, when you've plated it on a beautiful white plate like that, it really looks like very posh and expensive.
Look how beautiful this is.
Serve that up as a starter.
Can we have a little bit of this lovely flakes?
Go ahead. All right, SMS the keyword dish to 33728. But this is not the last of our economical dishes for the month of January. We've done aartappels, we've done beetroot, and C is for cabbage, which is coming up next on the Culinary Hotline playing
Sing, sing, sing.
This is the...
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live on SABC3. It's a Monday morning. We are talking relationships. We're unpacking them. And this morning, celebrity psychologist Charissa Bloomberg is in the hot seat, as always, to help us discuss and really just dissect how effectively we can go about setting goals and resolutions for the new year as a couple. If you are involved in someone, how to bring them into your space of resolutions. Of course, we'd like to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your comments. So do go over to our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Drop a comment on the post and we will engage with you. Charissa, the conversation we had already earlier on sparked a lot of interest and fascination in me, and the comments that have been coming through on social media are quite fiery as well, which we'll go through a little bit later on.
And you've expressed your support for sharing resolutions for the year in relationships. But then now I want to ask if each of you have committed to individual resolutions for the year. Should you both make an effort to support each other and also just, in a few months check up on your partner and say, hey, did you manage to achieve this? How far along are you with this commitment that you made?
Yes, absolutely. It's crucial to support each other and to say positive things about them, but not to be critical. And be very careful not to say, I knew you wouldn't do that. You never. You won't be able. You don't want to embarrass them and cause shame, because that will impact on their self-esteem. So you want to be positive and you want to guide them and you want to celebrate the little wins. And the best thing that you can do is do your own goals, because then you'll be an inspiration to your partner as well. But don't mother them and did you do it?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
I knew
One of the best
I
things
knew it.
about I knew you wouldn't do
I knew
that.
you wouldn't do
I knew you were
that.
lying about that. But one of the best things about setting resolutions as a couple right at the beginning of the year is that you almost have this partner with you throughout the year that's there to support and guide you through it, and you're guiding each other in the process. So, for example, if Kuhle and I were a couple and she told me that she wanted to focus on healthier eating, we're not waiting for the end of the year to do a review. Where I can help in the way that I cook in the house by making food that is healthy and is aligned to that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And what are the other ways in which people can support each other as a couple in resolutions?
And you can go to the gym together.
Oh, and we can do that together. So there's so much that brings us closer.
So much, yes. Firstly, if we're going to discuss it, I think we go back a little bit. Each one should do questions for the other person, and then you bring your questions together and you have it in a relaxed environment. Like, what memories did we want to create? Where are we going? What's the biggest goal for you? What are we going to do differently? What are our failures? And we answer some questions, and then we come together and discuss that. And we discuss that there's kind of rules and agreements. We won't put each other down.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way, that we go away, we think about it, and then we chat together. And then we check in, like this date night.
Yeah.
How far are we with our girls, darling?
Yeah.
Where are we? What should we do? And it's okay, you know, life is going to happen. There's going to be challenges. But that's why you've got each other. To help each other, to bond.
Yeah. I think it's something very special because also, you know, because you push yourself outside of your comfort zone when you make such resolutions, you know, and to have someone always being like, hey,
nudging
babe,
you.
how far are we?
Yes.
You know, because we also just tend to be complacent and just sit back. So we received a few comments on social media because we've asked you, you know, what the advantages of setting relationship resolutions at the beginning of the year. And this one is from Josephine Pickstone. And she says, as a couple, always respect each other and teamwork always my couple goals, me and my husband. So she's advocating for teamwork in a partnership. That's truly important.
I love that. We also got another one from Lerato Matlawa, who says we always have each other's back. When the other party slacks, you have the other one to get you back on track and remind you of the optimal goal, or the ultimate goal, which is what it's all about, really.
Yes.
It's very easy for people to be quite close-minded around it and to think that they tend to potentially lose themselves or their identity in a relationship if they're sharing all of their goals with another person. But we'll chat about that in our part 3 of this conversation because it is going on. So let us know how you tackle setting goals up together at the beginning of the year as a couple on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Time for us to take it to Hollywood. Golden Globes, what's happening?
Hello, Golden Globes indeed. JP Sebastian is still here with part 2. JP, I forgot to tell you, I got your mommy in the mall the other day. She's amazing. I love her. Vivian, we love you. She says you sometimes force her to watch movies with her, and then she's like, she doesn't understand anything, and you're like, Mom, you missed the whole thing. So I love her. Shout out to Vivian.
I feel like I was just put on the stand there. Is this a cry for help? You're in a hostage situation with my mom because she speaks 4 times more than I do.
She does. Like, we stood in the line for an hour, but listen, let's get back to work. We are talking about leading actors, actresses, and best motion picture for musicals and
comedies. So at the Golden Globes, these usually end up being kind of weird categories for people because they're like, I didn't laugh once during that movie, kind of thing. But the point being, of course, is that some movies are comical or tragicomic. Let's cut to the meat and potatoes of the first one is Die Hard comedy. It is Daniel Craig as nominee for Best Lead-In Actor in a comedy or musical for Knives Out. What do you think of Daniel Craig as a Bond, usually? Obviously, James Bond, your man.
Yeah, it was weird for me to see him in something like...
branching out.
Yes, absolutely, which is good, but it's not always everyone's thing. It's not everyone's niche. So to see him in this was like...
It really does seem like he's feeling like quite liberated by the moves that he's making. Like last thing was Logan Lucky, and he was hilarious in that, and in this too, he's just like doing the Southern gentleman kind of thing. But
absolutely.
Aside from Daniel Craig, you've got Roman Griffin Davis from Jojo Rabbit. It's a tiny little kid.
Look at that, already slaying the game.
I feel like I should just pack it in, call it a day.
Why?
Because I'm 34. Anyway, Roman Griffin Davis, so again, this is not like, you know, things that are die-hard comedy. The kid's got a lot of work on his hands. The movie is about a little boy who's tricked by a fake Hitler, and he's in Nazi youth, and so it's not, you know, not stitches laughing kind of thing, but you can imagine for a kid to try and walk the line between the sheer horror of that kind of thing and also having quirky moments, good for him. Obviously, everyone loves these days Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not you, you're grimacing. Leonardo DiCaprio is not your man.
Again, I see him in like action movies. Leonardo DiCaprio's in like Sexy Things. Him and Brad Pitt, same WhatsApp group. Comedy,
sexy things like a Speedo or something like that.
Yeah, or just like shirtless, whatever. But like comedy, it's always, for me, comedy must stay in comedy. Like there's people like, what is the guy in Happy Gilmore?
Adam Sandler.
Yes, Adam Sandler. He like comedy, you know, but...
Who knows? He could have been nominated for drama. Uncut Gems is being called one of the greatest of this year.
You see what I mean?
So he was a surprise. However, obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio has chops in comedy too. Since Django Unchained, he was creepy as heck in that, and a bit of a funny enough edge, I suppose, and then he waters that down here slightly. But he's not the star of the show for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. For me, that was obviously Brad Pitt. However, Taron Egerton is a dude who I could not stand for the longest time because he was from the Kingsman, Eggsy. And I thought that role was so 2D. I thought it was so, very obvious to do. But he blew my socks off, not my socks off, whatever the saying is, with Rocket Man, where he plays Elton John and plays it superbly. So I was rooting for him, but I'm not saying if he won or not yet. And lastly on the list for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, Eddie Murphy's back, everyone. Don't we all love Eddie? Yeah, Dolly
Eddie. Love Eddie.
Eddie's girl loves to party all the time. Anyway, so we're happy to see him back, coming to America too. That shocked you and everyone else. So tell you what, let's just tell you who the winner is of the category of Best Actor and Musical Comedy. It is Taron Egerton.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So if you're going to give the thing to Bohemian Rhapsody, Rami Malek, last time, then if this was the movie that was supposed to be directed by that guy, and it is such a heck of an improvement on Bohemian Rhapsody, which is kind of messy around the edges. Honestly, Rocket Man blew me away. Totally was not expecting to have the kind of experience I did watching this. Heartbreaking, beautiful, so human. Watch it for yourself. Taron Egerton totally deserved the Golden Globe.
I'm so proud of you, actually, for saying that someone deserves it. Because normally you like always bashing with people. So now it's like you're actually in sync with the Golden Globes. Let's talk about the ladies. What is the females doing in this? Why are you looking at this?
On the stand. Other people getting globes and I'm just getting shade.
I love you, though.
I'm joking. So, Best Leading Lady in a Comedy or Musical starts with Knives Out, Ana de Armas. And again, this is a character who is comical, maybe. She is maybe the foil. She's maybe the catalyst. She's maybe the lubricant for the other people's humor because she just really plays the nervous lamb in between the murder drama type thing. Actually, little funny quirk she has in the movie. She has to play this character who every time she is tempted to lie, she wants to puke. So anyway, maybe not my favorite on the list, but I do love it dearly, from Blade Runner 2049 and other stuff like that. Moving on, though, Awkwafina is how you say the name.
Oh, I love her. I love her
Crazy
so
Rich
much.
Asians was the last time we saw her.
Yes, I love her.
And this is a total departure. So again, this is not straight down the line comedy. The Farewell looks so heartbreaking. And honestly, I haven't seen it myself, but it's definitely on my list to watch. She looks like she's one of these comedians who obviously she did the, maybe it's really a bit embarrassing, the over-the-top ghetto sort of accent that she's done for the longest time. And in this one, it just looks like such a heartbreaking, very true story that she's acting in. Yeah. However, moving on, Cate Blanchett is the next nominee for Where'd You Go, Bernadette. So the lady again...
Did you see that?
Maybe not. JP is pressed for time here because he's holding up South Africans. Cate Blanchett in Where'd You Go, Bernadette, directed by Richard Linklater. The vehicle itself might not be strong enough. It was not rated too highly by the critics, but the actress is amazing in everything she does. So does she get it? We'll find out. Beanie Feldstein in Booksmart is the next nominee. Booksmart, I thought was super overrated. It was really just super bad, but obviously girlified, that's a dumb word to use, but you know what I mean. Female leads as opposed to males. I'm not trying to be unwoke or anything like that, I promise. But she's really just a proxy and in fact cousin to Jonah Hill in this. Funny enough, but it's weird to get nominated for something that's pretty generic as far as comedy goes. Lastly, Emma Thompson for Late Night. And another actress who obviously has such a history in dramas. Such an intense dramatic actress and one of the best we've had. Man, breaks my heart in everything that she's been in. However, this is obviously a comedy. Late Night. She plays a late-night talk show host, and I think she co-wrote on this one as well. So, tell you what, though, let's talk about who the winner is. Surprise, surprise, super surprising group, given that you've got all this talent like Cate Blanchett and Emma Thompson. Awkwafina takes it for The Farewell.
I didn't know that.
No.
Well, now I know.
Well,
I
no,
love
you know,
it.
this is the whole point of me being here. Should I just go home?
No, but that's why I'm informed. Like you're informing me.
Awkwafina.
Well deserved.
From everything that I've seen thus far, I really super do intend to see this myself. It looks super heartbreaking, and obviously she brings a little bit of an edge of comedy to it. I mean, good grief. The story is about a family going overseas to lie to their grandmother that a wedding is happening because they don't want to tell her the truth that she's got stage 4 cancer. And it's a true story based on Lulu Wang's own story. But that's heartbreaking for another time. Let's get on to the best comedy or musical picture, putting the actors aside and talking about the whole vehicle itself. Quickly going into that one. So the nominees are Dolomite Is My Name, Eddie Murphy, obviously, and the gang all back there, Craig Robinson and a bunch of other good names who we love dearly. Jojo Rabbit is the next nominee. Taika Waititi directed Thor Ragnarok. We loved him dearly in that. This is a pretty dangerous movie to make. Sort of making a cutie joke, I suppose, about Nazism, but also trying to make a desperately serious point, especially in the kind of times we live in. And Knives Out is third nominee for Best Picture or Musical Comedy. Ensemble cast there, you couldn't ask for better. Toni Collette is one of the best we've ever had, and Michael Shannon is my personal favorite. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino team up for Shenanigans and a lost love letter from a director who really is trying to say his final goodbye. Quentin Tarantino is really on a strong send-off here. However, the last one, Rocket Man, Taron Egerton, is also, in fact, the winner of Best Musical or Comedy.
You've been hyping it up so much, I could only imagine.
Wait, no. Oh, my goodness. I made a
lying?
terrible mistake.
Oh, no, you did a Steve Harvey. You are going to be slaughtered. You are getting slaughtered. Who's the winner?
Who? Elton John, I'm sorry. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Was the winner.
You know, thank you, everyone. But man, I need all the support I could get. Quentin Tarantino's all about plot twists, so I had to put in a bit of a little extra edge there. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood takes it for them. Let's talk about drama a bit later,
We
though.
love it. Thank you, JP Sebastian, and invite your mommy Zoe also onto the show. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you back after this.
She's got a better memory than me.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
And it's all about the love. It's all about the relationships. Welcome. Still Monday, talking relationships here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. This morning, Charissa Bloomberg is still in the hot seat. We're discussing how to be effective in setting goals and resolutions for the new year. Not just for yourself, but for your relationship and within a relationship as a couple as well. We've invited you to comment and ask us any questions as well on our Facebook page, and you've sent those through. We'll have a look at them a little bit later on. Charissa, thank you so much for sticking around to educate us on how we can, keep our relationships going in the right way.
And
And balanced.
So in part one, we asked if it's a good idea to have resolutions with your partner, and secondly, why it's important to keep on checking up and, not necessarily keep tabs, but to see progress as the relationship progresses through the year. One thing right now, right? So setting relationship resolutions can be a way of assessing the relationship and how healthy it is and where we are moving forward together as a partner. And what other ways can we maximize on this exercise?
Like I said before, is to actually get questions that you can ask each other. And you can do your whole summary of where you want to improve and take those areas and put it on a vision board. There's nothing more powerful than a vision board with pictures and sayings, and make a nice big one where everyone can see. And also, I think, what we need to include, which couples don't often do, is a mission and a vision statement.
Okay.
Now, the mission says what we stand for in our relationship. And then our vision is where we're going and where we're headed in the future. We do that in companies, but we should be doing that in relationships as well. Here is us, babe. It's on there. This is what we stand for. Decorate it.
Well, let's have a look at some comments that have come through on social media. Here's Ab Derek, who says the advantages are it brings the couple together and close as well, right? It's developing strong bonds for the couple for the whole year. And it's true. It's what you said earlier on. We've got another comment here, and this one came through, Charissa, from Lucille France, who says, hey guys, good to have you back. I was going to start training and getting into shape, but then God had other plans for me. Hashtag expecting baby number 3. Woohoo! Congratulations. That's beautiful news. Morning sickness is a killer. Lol. Okay, so that's just telling us about the plans for the festive season and what they're looking forward to this year. But Spesihle says, good to have you back, guys. Expresso Morning Show. My opinion is let us try to understand and respect your partner. It works for me. And that's what setting those goals helps to do, right?
Yes, those are brilliant comments. And absolutely very powerful. I couldn't have said it better. Respect is huge, yes. Like we said before, not put your partner down. Encourage each other, be there for each other, support each other through this.
Before we let you go, what is the best way to start this discussion? So we're in a relationship, we're a couple. I've got my own goals. She's got her own goals. I know what she wants to achieve. And now we're bringing them together and aligning them. What's the best way to start this conversation and to get this discussion going?
Right. So each of you discuss your own personal goals, your individual goals. I want a gym, I wanted this, I wanted that. How it's going to impact on each other. And then you're going to sit down and discuss what do we want for ourselves.
As a unit.
As a unit. Where do we see ourselves? We want to have a strong bond. We want to make sure that we are going to survive 2020 together.
Or we want to travel more.
We want to travel more, exactly. We want to buy that house. We want to have a holiday. We want to plan for a child. We want another child. We don't want children. We want a pet. We want more intimacy. We want more time together without social media.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to continue the discussion a little later on. I know there's so much to say and so much to delve into. Thank you so much for having us, for joining us on the show right now. We're talking about all things relationships. Make sure to drop your comments on our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. Right now, though, let's just check out what's happening in the kitchen with Kat.
What's cooking?
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only mean one thing.
Yeah, you know what that song means. It means we're welcoming you back to the Culinary Hotline Bling. Sing, sing, sing. Yes, we're going through the ABCs of vegetables, where A was for aartappel, B was for beetroot, and C is for cabbage. A beautiful, economical vegetable and ingredient which you can have slow baked, you can saute it, you can shred it for a slaw. It's a humble yet very versatile ingredient that is much loved throughout the world. And Jenny and Anel are here to share some of their best recipes and taking inspiration from the Far East with a scrumptious Asian cabbage salad that we're about to make. But I've got to have Anel just tell us about her favorite way of enjoying cabbage, which I've never heard of before. In fact, we're trying to find a name for it.
It's the abusive cabbage dish.
Just quickly give us a rundown.
Because I need something in my hand when I explain something.
It's passionate.
So you take this cabbage and you put it in a pot of salted water.
Yes.
Okay. And you cover it with water. And you boil it, simmer it slowly till it's soft. It's about 2 hours soft, but it doesn't lose its shape.
Yes.
You take it out slowly, you let it, all the water
drain out.
That takes about 10-15 minutes. Then you put it in a beautiful baking dish.
Yes.
It's soft now.
Yes.
You punch some holes in it with a knife.
Yes.
Okay. Then you make a mixture of, you melt butter, lots of butter, and Bovril or Marmite in it. So it's that salty, buttery flavor. And you pour it over here.
So it sinks into those holes you've punctured in, there's munyels into there.
Munyels inside. Then you take very sharp, mature cheddar cheese and you grate it on top. You push it a little bit down, so because it's soft, it forms like a cake, actually.
Okay.
Then you put your cheddar cheese on top, and you melt it, grill it in the oven till it bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. You take it to the table, and you slice it like a cabbage cake.
Yum! Cabbage cake, Wana. Cabbage cake in 2020. January, no. Janu delicious. Cabbage cake, Ntwana. Wow, that sounds amazing.
It's my favorite thing. And you know what?
Wow.
It's such a showstopper because when you walk to the table, nobody expects a whole cabbage.
Yes.
And when you cut it, those flavors, it is just out of this world.
I think it needs to make its way onto your blog somewhere, and you need to give it a very fancy name.
Yes.
Trademark this recipe.
Can I borrow it?
Gosh.
May I?
All right.
Permission?
Now let's talk about the cabbage dish that you're about to show us over here that draws inspiration from the Far East. What do you have there for us, Jenny?
Yeah, this is my sister-in-law's dish, and she is this sexy blonde with the most beautiful figure. So these are all for all the people with beautiful figures.
Excuse me. What's wrong with us?
We are also voluptuous and sexy, so there's nothing wrong with that. So we've got shredded cabbage. Jen, can you put that together?
I shall do that. We have green beans. Look at me, how quick I am.
Look at
Baby
that.
corn.
The baby corn is a favorite.
We have carrots.
Grated
the carrots.
We have beautiful spring onion, which I think is a must. And is this coriander, darling?
Yeah, that's coriander, because it's Asian, lots of coriander.
I'll keep some of these for the top, but I like it when the dressing sinks into that a little.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What's in that dressing?
Okay, now the dressing
different
is the Asian, because these are all flavors that we get as well, but what makes it Asian is the dressing.
Yes.
So we've got some rice vinegar here.
Can you use any vinegar? If you haven't got rice?
White vinegar,
apple cider.
apple cider vinegar, it will be nice. I've got a bit of oil in here, always just a little bit of oil. Then what gives it the Asian flavour is a bit of sesame oil.
Yes.
Just be very careful how much you use. I rather, if you've got a very sensitive palate for sesame, because it's very strong, I'd rather use a little bit less and then taste my way through it. I'm going to add a bit of sugar. You always have to add a bit of sugar with a balance, yeah.
Okay.
A bit of soy sauce to give it the salty flavour. And some
all the chili, Mama.
Chili.
All the chili.
Oh, wow.
Chili. Do you like chili, Kat?
I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it.
Sorry, can I begin some more? Is there
Originally, I wouldn't be a fan, but I'm getting used to it.
There we go.
Okay, Kat, I want you to taste this just like that.
You're gonna choke.
Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna skip a chili. I can't even have chili in.
Okay.
But just taste that as a dressing.
Yes.
And then you just put this over here. He died.
Yes.
You don't like it.
Oh!
No, he's
No,
died.
it hits the spot. I'm good.
This is clean water.
But I know. No, I'm good. I'm good.
sure,
I
baby?
promise I'm good. Yes. I mean, well, obviously, once it sinks into the cabbage there, because cabbage absorbs the flavour, it spreads itself through that. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. And then you've got some seeds
Sesame
there, right?
seeds, healthy sesame seeds, just to give it a bit of crunch.
By the way, while you do that, you at home can SMS the keyword salad to 33728 and we'll send you the recipe.
Okay, Kat, you have to try this. Sorry, you have to try
that one or this one.
Yes, vat sommer daai.
Okay.
That's a vir jou. Jen, are you going to try it?
Are you going to try and stop me? Please, no, I want a plate.
Do you want a plate? I'm going to try.
Girl. I can hear the crunch.
Quick and easy, crunchy. Oh, that chili is just doing this to my tongue. Just.
Oh! Yes, Mama.
But it's absolutely beautiful.
It's perfectly balanced, eh?
Oh, well done. Anil, well done. Jenny, well done. Enjoy it. Delicious recipes. We've gone through the A, B's and C's of cheap and cheerful veggies. So do join us again on Wednesday for the Culinary Hotline playing Sing, Sing, Sing. We bring you more deliciousness from our kitchen. Yeah. That's really good. I'm going to just... Can I just...
Yeah. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. You're still in charge, live and in charge with the Expresso Morning Show. And of course, JP Sebastian is still here for part 3, and he's going to give all the details on the fire of the drama of the 77th Golden Globe Awards.
That one is particular. So I've overstayed my welcome as it is. I've got so much to speak about, and so I'm going to jump straight into it if you don't mind. Lead actor nominees for the drama category, starting with Christian Bale from Ford vs. Ferrari. Such an interesting character because he's not just doing his, like, oh, Christian Bale becomes this monstrous guy who loses tons of weight. He's also superhuman in this as well. It's been kind of funny, actually. Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, one of the best performances I've seen
old though
in my life. We have slept on Antonio Banderas. That's why he's so old, because he has been out of your thoughts and out of your mind for way too long. Desperado, good grief. Anyway, so moving on. Adam, me trying to show as much love as I can with like 4 hours of sleep across 4 days. Adam Driver in Marriage Story. Oh man, so if Antonio Banderas does like the really, really tender sort of stuff, crying and screaming as hard as you can, Adam Driver actually does in a way that's not painful and idiotic and stupid. Very good actor. Please go watch Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, 4th nominee for Best Actor in a Drama. There was even a drum roll for that from the kitchen. Super impressed they were. And the dude who carried the entire movie on his shoulders, as far as I'm concerned. The movie wasn't bad, obviously. It was very competently made, but my goodness, I was just being told by the camera people, they can't believe the kind of stuff he achieved, because Pete had seen it last night. Everyone hug Pete when you see him. He's very touched by the Joker. Jonathan Pryce from The Two Popes is the final nominee. Jonathan Pryce last was enjoyed, I think, by people in The Wife with Glenn Close, Game of Thrones, of course.
Yes.
Talking to the guy who watched season 1 twice because I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Ryland and Save, I apologize for keeping you awake for 2 seasons. I'm a bad friend. Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes is the final nominee on the list. However, the winner obviously is, come on, can you guess it? Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker.
Wow.
Had to take it. The kind of, I was speaking earlier about like Al Pacino, and it's surprising he's not even nominated. But putting your body, your soul, your head down to your toes
delving deep into it.
Everything, and I think that with a director like Todd Phillips, who he knew that he was sitting on such a great resource, just put it all in his hands and trusted him implicitly. Best actor, moving on to Best Actress. I'm sorry to rush through these, my dears.
No, it's fine.
Best Actress in a Drama, starting out with Cynthia Erivo in a biopic. Usually biopics do so well. This is the true story of Harriet Tubman, who emancipated slaves, first emancipated herself, escaped to the north, went back to the south at gunpoint and freed more people from the clutches of slavery. And so that could be something that's very touching. I haven't seen it myself. However, what was super touching for me was Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story. Trana, Kat, have you seen it? Just cry from a distance. Dude, how heartbreaking.
Drama. You guys are really bringing the drama this morning. Thank you very much.
Saoirse Ronan in Little Women is the 3rd nominee, looking way too elated there. Maybe she gets it, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't put it in that face. Charlize Theron for Bombshell, one of our own.
Yes, our very own. I hope she took it.
I can't make promises to you just yet. Renee Zellweger from Judy. Why am I putting on a weird accent?
Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger on SABC3. Renee Zellweger for Judy, obviously about who knows what I'm doing half the time. Another biopic and another musical like you had Rocket Man. Judy Garland is who she's playing here. Could have been something that was so awkward. However, surprise, surprise, another surprise winner. Renee Zellweger took the Best Actress Drama Award. She performed so well in Judy. Honestly, I'm not even a fan of show tunes and clang, 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 went the trolley. That's not my style. Can't twerk to that. Everyone knows how much I love to twerk.
JP, what is going on today?
No one needed to know that.
He has 4 hours of sleep. This is what happened to JP.
Who knows how JP is kept out of sleep? Judy, which really Renee Zellweger performed so well. Voice, acting, embodiment. Really do watch it. Like I said, even if you're not interested in show tunes, such an impressive actress she was. So, on to the finale of the night. Golden Globes, the best drama picture of the year. 1917, starting off, we spoke about Sam Mendes earlier. He won Best Director, a war film which people are saying is the next Saving Private Ryan. I'd say it's better than Saving Private Ryan. Incredible. Please keep an eye out for it later Jan in South Africa. The Irishman by Martin Scorsese. What a gift to behold. Only 2/3 of The Irishman there. It is, of course, Robert De Niro, dead center, and Al Pacino looking de-aged. And then the other man was Joe Pesci in another picture somewhere else. What a treat. Who cares if they win or lose? You should just be lucky to have all of them together. Joker is the 3rd nominee in the Best Picture picture drama. Oh, I should call it Joaquin Phoenix. The Joaquin Phoenix, because obviously we just saw that he won the
He
best
won it, of course.
actor.
He carried the entire movie.
He basically did. Marriage Story is fourth. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, man, came up short. I was really surprised actually at them not winning. Supporting actress did go to Laura Dern. However, Marriage Story is incredible to behold. Dude, so moving. I never want to get married or divorced, or other way around, who knows. The Two Popes is the final nominee for Best Picture Drama, but another surprise, man, when you got names like Scorsese and you got the kind of work that was put in for Joker. However, out of nowhere, 1917, Sam Mendes and the dudes and the dudettes and Roger Deakins behind the camera. Ooh. One of the greatest there ever was. Cinematographer Roger Deakins, please watch every movie that he has lensed. He's incredible. He's a gift to man, woman, human, all kind. 1917 is one of the best war movies ever made. Everyone go watch it.
JP Sebastian, it's good to have you back and your twerking skills for 2020. That is JP Sebastian. And what are you doing? Put your hand down. But of course, he'll be with us throughout the year and more of his twerking skills.
Horrible.
We don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
I can't wait to see those skills, JP. I need to sharpen mine because at this point, hey. Right now, though, unfortunately, it's about that time where we say goodbye, but we never leave you hanging. Earlier on, he gave us Conversations. Then, featuring Umtunza, he gave us
Energy.
Energy. And right now, though, he's going to give us the final performance with a song titled Imagination. Please give it up for Yannick Songa.
Yeah. All right. Imagination. Yeah. Yo, I recreate the world in my mind. Vision's too pretty, takes time. I fall my clock, I'm closing my eyes. Time to see, like, where the am I? Yeah, my daydreams always make believe. I can't believe I'm in a place only my mind has been. The sun's always up and nobody sleeps. You don't need to know the day or what time it is. Round here, no friends, no family. Cause we are the enemies of reality. We don't do cash cause there be no currency. Close your eyes and listen. Yeah. No camera can capture this moment you living in. Floating away, follow me there. Floating away, follow me there. Floating away, let's go. Follow me there. My imagination take me places that I can go. See that? My imagination take me places that I can go. Yeah, my imagination take me places that I can go. Yeah, my imagination take me places that I can go. Yeah. Look, nobody different cause we all the same. It was only on earth when we use names. If you ever leave a place, you with us forever. Yeah, round here you got a new life. Like you a newborn kid with a long beard. Some don't say goodbye, they disappear. Heartbroken, imaginary friends. We make mistakes without the punishment. Cause we forgive until we trust again. We paint and paint until the colors blend. We paint and paint until the colors blend. We friends with light, the summer never ends. The sky is pink, not blue, let's not pretend. Yeah. No camera can capture this moment you're living in. Floating away, follow me there. Yo, y'all guys can sing that? Floating away, follow me there. My imagination takes me places that I can't go. Y'all sing that with me, y'all gotta sing that with me. It's the last song, let's go. Everybody, my imagination takes me places that I can go. My imagination takes me places that I can go. My imagination takes me places that I can go. My imagination takes me places that I can go. Thank you very much. My name is Yannick Songa. Peace. Thank you, Expresso. I love you.
Monday, see you tomorrow. Make sure you smile out there. Bye.
Yeah.
Yannick.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.